Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pape Races. Right now we have a randomizer race between Puffy, Phantom, JCog, and MX_4. And with me I have Van Strummer. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going pretty well. Kind of exhausted, but I'm excited to watch and commentate this race. I'm actually very interested in this one.
Yeah, we have three of the GDQ submitters in this race today.
Too, and Puffy's new to this whole randomizer race scene in general. His first race was the last Pape Races rando we did, and having this be like your first race at Pape Races is honestly kind of nice to see new people like get into this. And Puffy seems to be like a recurring racer, and I'm really excited to see Puffy's improvement.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage, definitely, for your first ever randomizer race. Like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take to the big stage, and everyone's gonna see how I do. And they started off very strong last week. You can tell it was one of their first, but I'm definitely hyped to see how they improve as this goes along.
I'm looking at the those four items at the top. What's that one on the far right? It does not look familiar to me.
No, that is looking at the race time. It's called Kaiden, Kaiden. I am not sure what that actually is. Is that like an unused badge? Maybe.
I've not heard of that one either.
All right. Well, I think the racers are about ready to go here. Countdown's gonna start soon. Whenever your racers are ready, you're good to go. We're off in the pre-countdown.
Who are we starting with?
Looks like we have sound on Phantom right now, and here we go.
A lucky start.
All right, not going to see a lot of deviation here. Beginning.
Yeah, beginning you just generally want to take these pre-toe town checks, I guess. 3 fast checks. Might be something, might not be.
Not sure what's going on with Puppy here.
So far we've found nothing. Just Maple's a nice little item to have just to fill your FP if you get like bomb bet and you want to power bomb multiple times. But
Oh yeah, I'll sit on that for a while. I'll start getting rid of other stuff before I start getting rid of that. Honestly, as much FP as you usually end these races with, it's usually enough. Like that's gonna be a full reheal. Just like a super shroom's basically a full heal most of the time.
yeah. So Ralph is holding Cooper Shell hostage. I mean, these just small Cyclops items could lead to something, could not. And M4 seems to be headed straight to Merlot. So we'll see what Merlot has early.
Yeah. Also, I noticed it must have been when they tried to jump out of their spin dash, but I noticed they talked to Merlin there. I wonder if that's going to bite him in the butt later, because I use that indication to remember, hey, I haven't checked Merlin yet.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I think they usually talk to Merlin when they pass. Oh, Ralph also had the record. I probably missed when Jacob bought that.
Here we are. Caught up. Let's see what... Nothing super important popping up yet. We're just getting a few key items, but nothing that actually does. Oh, there's a fortress key.
The Fortress Key doesn't give you anything immediately. Like, this is the most bare Totem I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You usually get at least a couple things.
Let's see if MX going to Star piece shop early. Nothing in the items themselves. Ruins key. Oh, and I think Cooper as well, right?
Yeah, they open the menu like faster than my slow eyes can see. Also, Ruins key, but if Cooper's there, then that's probably priority, especially with that fortress key being in Harry's shop. So they can make like a fortress tip if you get the star pieces for it.
Yes, absolutely. See J-Cog grabbing some coins. Alright, I'm gonna guess MX is also going to be, yeah, they're going right to Cooper Village too. That's kind of where it looks like it wants us to go. That was, let's see, if it was 2 below the ruins key, that would be what, 20 star pieces now that you're gonna need? Oh, Palace key early too.
I think ruins was 15 star pieces, so it'd be like 25.
25, okay, and I don't even think at this point we have access to 25, so interesting start.
Yeah, shooting star is really good at this point because you could just destroy the fuzzies. Even if like high scale chapter 1. That is the weight. In chapter 1 and Ice Palace key. Yeah, this chapter 1 seems to be where all the items are.
A few steps behind, but grabbing the same thing. Oh, and not to mention the nice little Ultra Shroom they grabbed on the way, which will be 50 coins. It's nice.
Yeah. It's also nice to see, or interesting to see that no one's running for Super Boots right away. I know some people tend to like drop everything and go to Super Boots. Especially when there's like some combat you're going to have to do here for the fuzzy minigame. But with a shooting star, even if it's high scaled, it's not going to be a hard fight.
Yeah. And, I mean, if there's something over here, you'd feel real bad if you decided to bail that early and there's something you need over here and you can't do that much over here anyway. So if you missed it, you'd feel real bad.
Maybe if Cooper was cheaper, I would see that kind of play being a thing, so you get the panel star pieces and get Cooper, but Cooper's kind of on the expensive side.
Yes. Alright, we know where the blueberry is.
Is no one going to save Goombario from his
Cooper Overlord?
Sold? Oh, storeroom key.
This is
in the bush in Koopa Village.
Yeah. Loaded Pleasant Path, Koopa Village.
No, nothing's in Toad Town, so... And since Slacky himself doesn't open anything immediately, like, Chapter 1 definitely had to have everything. And the Fuzzy having Waka as well as... That's also, like, a lot of money to go with Ultra Shroom. So we're pretty good on money this seed.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be hurting. You immediately recouped what you paid Kent C with the Ultra Shroom, and then the Wackus Bump's just pure profit. Everyone opted to do the fuzzies, looks like. Let's see if they have anything good for us after the Wackus Bump. Then I imagine probably Chapter 3 is the next path everyone's going to take.
Yeah, since you have to wait. And honestly, the things you got in Chapter 1 didn't lead to anything. Unless the Storm Key holds something.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's a quick 4 items. I would...
I check this room, then go to Chapter 3.
Yes. That's a good quick 4 items.
Like, this is like a long shot, but like, say if the boost portrait is in the storeroom, then you could do Gutsy Gulch as well when you go to Chapter 3.
Oh, yeah. Then we can see who decides to skip Gutsy Gulch again and get shot in the foot for it.
Yeah, that wasn't so fun last time.
Alright, MX the first one out. Let's see.
And Puppy not far behind them. But This is like I said, this is an easy like Star Storm. You just win in one turn kind of fight.
Another letter, sure.
Yeah, you do need 3, and the letter in Shroom Grocery is kind of on the expensive side. It's like 20 coins, which you kind of want to spend on 1/3 of a maybe progressive item.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 10 coins, something like that. So I'm forward to buy it. Well, with all the coins we have access because of the whack on the Ultra's room.
I don't think anybody's going to be hurt. Was that our... Can't quite see that tracker. Is that our third letter? Or is that just our second? With the one in the shop.
I think it's our second. I can't quite see the tracker too well either. But, or it could be our third. I don't know if Jacob... I know Jacob gets 2, and I don't know if he bought the one in the shop. Since it's like... coin spending early is not advised usually. But...
No, not that early.
With like the record or whatever, Chapter 3 is like pretty much on the table. And Puffy's on his way to the storeroom.
Actually, Phantom and MX looking like they are opting to skip the storeroom right away.
That did hurt in the last Pape Races seed, where people skipped the shop before going to Chapter 3. Lucky it won't hurt here, but the lyrics could be nice.
Yeah.
But it's really... really skipping the storeroom right now won't matter too much.
Oh, Jacob doing the same. You get a nice little Thunderbolt too.
Interesting that Puffy sold the Waka at Harry's shop, so he lost 15 coins as opposed to like selling on Shroom Grocery.
Yeah, where you get 64, right?
Yeah. So 14 coins.
Maybe they didn't know. You get more money. Like, it took me a while to figure out that you actually get more money for selling cooked items at the booze shop.
Yeah, that's a good one as well.
Which I believe is actually used in the 100% route to get a little bit extra. I think they sell a Maple Ultra or a Jelly Ultra there for 200 coins.
So far, this forest doesn't seem to be bringing up anything.
No.
And force spins into an encounter.
I get to see... I didn't get to see what the HP was.
I think that Piranha had 8. I don't have like the spreadsheet open right now, so I can't... I don't know that off the top of my head. Well, with the other encounter that M4 took, the Fuzzy has 10 HP, so Chapter 3 is Chapter 6.
Oh yes, okay. Which isn't too bad.
It's a pretty beefy Chapter 3, but I'd like rather have my Chapter 3s being high scaled compared to like 6 or 7.
Yes. Yep, because honestly, if your movement's solid, you only really do 2 fights in Chapter 3.
Yeah, not even really just the hard fight. Oh, I guess you count Talbot too.
Yeah, Talbot's such a joke. I keep forgetting, shouldn't really count him as a fight.
Yeah, I usually count him in hard like one and done because like it's very easily cheesable, the hard fight. If you have like Power Bounce and Mega Rush. Yes, and even without, you could just like bow out of sight for a few turns and you're good.
Yeah, 6 and 7 are bad. My least favorite chapter to see scaled up is still 4. I absolutely hate a scaled up general guy.
Yeah, me too. Like if you don't have to down jump or anything of the sort, it's a hard fight to do.
Yeah, he is just nasty. So just a damage sponge. All the guys before him are damage sponges, and
especially if you don't have Ultra Stone yet, so you're dealing with like a 4 damage Watt.
Yeah. That is what's nice because of the logic. At least you always have to have Watt in that fight, which
Yeah.
definitely helps a little bit.
So it didn't brush on. Oh wait, that's a J Raven in that bush. I
Jade
just not going
Raven.
to pick up.
And then I noticed Jaycog just grabbed a mailbag out. We'll see if that's anything.
Yeah, like I was about to say that I've noticed that we've been seeing a lot of like side quest items, like Kuba Shell, record, lyrics.
Things that could be things, or they could just be bait that waste our time.
It's interesting. Puffy's taking this fight. Like instead of just running away from counters like M4 did, Puffy's taking it for the experience. It's granted, it's good experience if you're running chapter 6 skilled enemies immediately.
Man, fuzzies are rough. Just because of their splitting.
Yeah, like if I was Puffy, I'd probably maybe just use a stopwatch to give yourself free turns. Because if they keep on splitting, then the fight could just last for a while.
Especially when your best source of damage right now is Lackey.
Yeah, it isn't exactly damage incarnate. Oh,
ooh, there's sushi.
That's actually a really good find because chapter 5 is open to us now.
Yep. That we can get right into chapter 5. I think we get to 7 too, right?
Yep.
I'm not exactly
5, 7, and even the winding path because we have Lackey.
Yes. So we have a lot of options. I'm assuming this is the point where we'll start seeing people break off from each other then. Maybe not. Chapter 5 is just way too good in value.
Yeah, there's not really any options. We just get a bunch of like smaller side quest stuff, but unless you have the star pieces for Cooper and go to Fortress, there isn't. I think chapter 5 is like still the one to only play.
Yeah, 7 only gives you a few checks. I'm not exactly sprinting there without at least the warehouse key.
Well, I mean, 7 gives you the shop, which is more than 2 checks, so the shop alone is probably kind of worth, plus the 1 Toad House check and 1 in that random attack effects D chest.
Yeah.
And if you really want to be that guy, there's Under the Frozen Pond as well.
Oh, I'll just get to peep it at least.
You'd have to like start the murder, but if that has any progression, then it might be worth doing that.
Just noticed how long that fight took, but I saw the end of it, and Puffy actually did get like 50-something star points, so Puffy will definitely level before everyone else.
Yeah, that's for sure. And considering chapter 5 seems to be on the table, you'll get like more experience from fighter.
Something also to note that's very interesting here is that MX is the only one that's went up to check the star piece shop, so they're the only one that knows, hey, I should be grabbing a bunch of star pieces. Looks like Phantom's still grabbing some, but
yeah, I think Phantom, and I'm sure Jaycog will too, maybe. Because like, if you haven't tried the star piece shop, it's good to just flip those panels and get the star pieces just in case it has something, so you're prepared when you do go there.
Yeah, anything that's in your way.
And even if there's no progression on Merlot, like if Merlot's other items are something like good badges or just Ultra Shroom for money, or just Starstorm or Shooting Star rather, then like it's good to at least be stocked up and you can just buy what you need.
Yeah, a lot of times lately I've seen pretty much every time I've went in there, Star Piece Shop has had like a life shroom or something, and that's fine. Sure. You have the pieces, which just a nice thing to have. Oh, and all these side piece items aren't too bad. It's good that they're finding them early because they can just kind of do them as they go along instead of having to go back for one-off checks. Now that they have the boots, they can go right here from Merlin's house straight over to Yep, the post office and turn on that mailbag.
Yeah, which... Melody. Okay, another side quest item. Just we're literally going through chain secrets right now. Everyone loves a good trading side quest.
Just for it to end in rando, but with a mushroom.
Yeah.
And I'm about to find out what's going on in the bad shop. Or the Starfish shop, rather. Bunk, we've actually already seen Goombario, believe it or not. They've left him, poor boy, abandoned in the Koopa village shop.
Very cool.
And all these savages decided to leave him in enslavement.
Koopa 75.
Yeah, see, there's some life shrines. And then the fire badge, that's okay. Yeah, why not?
Okay, so it looks like M4 is not going to save Scum Blooper. I know, like, some... runners, like, do that. Like, I know... Jay Coggin.
I'm guessing no one has enough quite yet to get that. Jigex is 11, and I'm guessing that's about what everyone has, somewhere around there. Having 20 at this point, even with early super boots, is going to be a tough call. Here's our blessed song. Which I think low-key sounds like Never Gonna Give You Up in the beginning. Just a super shroom, okay. I'm just going into the sewers. Let's see what's down here. The bad situation hasn't been great so far, but they've been definitely been given a lot of attacking items, so I think that's okay for now. MX first to make to the island. Coming up on Height Beach. There's always something here. Life Shroom. Pyramid Stone, okay. Another Life Shroom, and the Scarf. See, that's why it's Hype Beach. Always, always, always has something good for you. Blue key, always hate to see that. Always pray that the blue key is not required.
Alright, I think my internet has officially returned.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You missed a pretty solid height beach. It was a scarf and pyramid stone.
Ooh, that's pretty hype. That... None of those things help immediately though, but if you find like Growski and Bucket like soonish, while the runners are on the way to chapter 7, I'd imagine, then that could lead to a lot.
Yes, yep. They also found the blue key, which I was saying that you hopefully just pray that you never need.
That's less hype.
Yeah. And, what else? Oh, 2 life shrooms are on that beach as well.
Okay. I mean, that's good for combat purposes. As you've seen in, like, last month's Pape race or something, not having life streams for a while makes combat hard, and runners could just die from it, no matter how good you are. Ooh, Pulse Stone. That's nice to see.
Yeah, it's just... Chapter 5's loaded here. Nice early spheres. Oh, I missed the second life shroom. Sorry, apparently there was 3 life shrooms on that beach.
Yeah, so I guess after they beat chapter 5, like, they beat chapter 5, they could go to chapter 7, or like open the shortcuts and do prologue and desert. Like there's a like after chapter 5 is when we'll see runners kind of deviate, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if you like touched upon this when my internet yeeted itself, but like the combination of Sushi and Jade Raven and Lackey gives us like 5 clearance.
I did not. I kind of had forgotten that we started with Lackey. I
Yeah,
did notice that Miss Star was lightly lit up there on Phantom's side, and Puppy's. J-Cog, I believe, turns it off. As well as MX looks like they do as well. Which I asked him about that last week, and he said it makes him think a little more, I guess. Is what it came down to. Another life shroom. You definitely do not need this many life shrooms at the beginning, but hey, they're nice to have. Just chuck them. Grab them later if you need them. And it does not look like Chapter 5 is that high of scaled right now.
I missed what was in the String Stomp chest, but seeing that Puffy reset, it was nothing good.
Yes, I didn't see it either. I was actually pulling up the resources so I can stop guessing on chapter difficulty.
Sure.
Jungle Fuzzy being at 5 means that chapter 5 is at chapter 3, looks like.
Which is very manageable.
There's the water.
We're getting a lot of like items that aren't going to be used till like later, like late game items like Fortress Key, Miracle Water, stuff you don't need for progression, like for checks, but things you just need for progression. Seems to be the theme we're running into right now. That and Cyclops items galore. The only Cyclops items you haven't seen yet is like what Dolly Artifact.
Oh, MX doing the block puzzle the honest way.
Yeah, I remember them saying that they haven't really bothered learning anything specifically for Rando, so they never really messed with... Even if it's like an easy trick, they never really mess with it, so they always go for the block puzzle. Ooh, Phantom eating a life shroom. Missed the poison block and the poison taking him out. But this is why we're lucky that the seed gave our runners a few life shrooms to work with.
Yeah. 4 life streams in the jungle alone.
Yeah. It's also interesting that J-Cog is saving the Yoshis even though he can't finish doing so without Watt. And like, that's kind of like an awkward scenario, I guess. Because if you find Watt, like, would you ever want to come back here when you beat chapter 5? Just to save a Yoshi kid? Or
Only
you just want to hope that like nothing's there?
Yeah,
just skip the fights for speed.
That's what I pray for. And then the only way I'm coming back is if I'm down to, you know, Goomba King, Rosie, and that. And Super Blooper.
Yeah, it's...
Maybe he wants to make his life easier when he comes back.
Yeah, like, I'm like 50-50 on him. Sometimes I'll just... Well, it's good experience, like, level... Well, you're like level 1, right? You haven't leveled up yet, so... At least from an experience standpoint, like, J-Cog's going to level up by the time you get to the tree. So, if you're going to be beating chapter 5, having it 1 level up would be nice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is...
Like, you level up FP, so score from Sushi, you could use it multiple times in a fight.
You know, I'm guessing Lava Piranha being level 3 skilled, not going to give our runners that much trouble. And I believe anyone who's been up to Shooting Star Summon already has Fire Shield, and I think I've seen a few Snowman dolls, so I don't think it's going to be that bad. But
yeah,
it's still going to be nice to give that little bit extra damage or FP. I have noticed we have been, as you were saying, we have been getting a lot of, you know, items here and there that we definitely need to beat the seed, but nothing really in the form of badges or partners.
Yeah. As far as partners goes, aside from... Where was Bo? That's probably when Mr. Momentum was out.
Somewhere in the jungle?
Phantom maybe just didn't mark her then.
Yeah, I'm guessing we'll see it on Puppy's side here soon. Had to be somewhere in the jungle maze.
Yeah, probably. I just got a little confused because I saw it marked on J-Cog and M4's trackers, but not Phantoms. And I imagine Phantom would have had it too.
It definitely had to have been before they used the Jade Raven.
Okay, so they're a bit of level here, I think, so it's probably going to level up FP, I guess. There's like no badges you'd want to equip right to level up this early.
Yeah. As long as Fire Shield is under, 3, I don't think there's really, Which I don't even think Fire Shield can be that expensive.
Oh, warehouse key though in Volcano.
Okay. So yeah.
Now this is interesting because after 5, you have access to Prologue 2 or Chapter 7, and you have the warehouse key to go even further beyond if you want, like the Shiver Snowfield. And if you find a bucket there, that'd be like a huge kind of play in your favor. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You get the Snow's Gifts, and that could lead to more things. I think like density-wise, 2 is probably better, because Desert has so many checks in Mount Rugged.
Yes. Especially because you're coming in that way, it doesn't matter if you have Paracarry or not, you can keep going right to Mount Rugged.
It matters in the sense that you won't get the bulb check because you don't Paracarry. And at that point you're hoping that bulb doesn't have anything because backtracking for that is not fun. That's why you want to make like kind of maybe a safer play, wait for Paracarry, and who maybe in Chapter 7 for all we know. Or just go on without and just hope that bulb doesn't have anything.
I'm trying to watch the players that are in the volcano, but I'm also trying to see where Bo was here.
So Phantom's choosing to level up Lackey right now.
Interesting. Was Squirt super expensive? We didn't see it?
I didn't see what Squirt cost, but I saw Spiny Surge cost 4.
Ugh.
So I don't think Spiny Surge alone. I mean, I guess having AoE for Lava Buds is nice, especially for like a low scaled Chapter 5. If Phantom was like a Thunder Rage or Shooting Star, actually I think that probably takes him out alone. Like Chapter 3 scaled Lava Buds have like almost no HP.
Yeah, it looks like
I'm
they
pretty sure Shooting Star
have.
alone will take it out if
Looks like they
Phantom
have
has one.
5.
Yeah, so like if Phantom was either Thunder Rage or Shooting Star, I think that alone would do the trick. I just feel like she might have been a better level up, but I'm not sure. Oh, right, no para carry, so everyone's gonna have to start pushing this block.
The only place where we can't use Lackey.
Theoretically, you could, but it's a glitch.
Yeah.
A
As
glitch
one of these
isn't allowed for races.
Another fortress key. Okay. Which isn't marked on Jacob's tracker. And that's our.
There's always that chance that Jacob didn't go to that block yet, because in the situation where I go to Chapter 5 with Sushi and J Raven already in tow, and like Chapter 5 completable, what I do is like do everything else first, and then go to that area when I pick up the volcano chest for that volcano base, which would be vanilla. So you do
Yeah,
that, and then you check, and those little island checks, and then power quick check all at once.
Yeah, I guess if you know you're already able to complete it, I mean, that's just a smart routing decision. Like, not checking behind the tree if you have Jade Raven kind of thing.
Yeah, like that's what Jaycog did. So I'm assuming that the route Jaycog's going for, so he will fortress if he have to.
And now we know we're 2 fortress keys in, all right? Because there was one in the bad shop, or was it? It was in one of the shops, I think.
Yeah.
All right, another ruins key, hanging out in the jungle.
Well, not bad shop, but it's Harry shop.
Oh, it was Harry shop. Oh. We are also about to have 2 people clear their first Star Spirit sub 40. Alright, we got MX entering phase 2, and Phantom's going to be pretty quickly behind, eating one of the 90 life streams that we have. Phantom entering phase 2 as well. MX slightly ahead here. Alright, MX one more turn to clean up the Lava Piranha. That's all over. Phantom dealing with Colorado, wasting her time. And MX is out. Phantom also one turn away now. J-Cog about to enter the fight.
Yeah, with all the snow installs that's been like available, this part is like pretty easy. And it's not weak type 5, just is.
So what's interesting is either Puffy hasn't marked it, or because I didn't see Puffy pick it up. I'm not sure where J-Cog and MX got Bo from.
Yeah, I missed it. I've been kind of like watching Puffy to see where it was, and still none.
Yeah, never grabbed it. So that it's very possible. Is there anything that MX and J-Cog did that Phantom did? Because I'm kind of trying to watch all 4 streams, but
you know, it is definitely hard to like keep track of like 4 different runners. Did anyone else say the Yoshi Kids aside from J-Cog? Because my thing is, it could be like in the far back where one of the Yoshi Kids are. Right, if you're skipping the Yoshi Kids, you might just skip that room entirely.
That is very possible.
That's my only theory. I'm sure we'll see it eventually soon.
I know Puffy didn't do any of them. Or maybe one, the one or two that you route in that are just kind of quick and easy. The log one on the left is fine usually. But usually you don't do that fight. And you usually open up the shortcut just in case you gotta come back for whatever reason, but... yeah, it could have been that behind that chest. It had to be after the village, but before the Jade Raven was turned in.
It's nice seeing those water blocks fast from J-Cog. I love seeing it.
It's interesting that MX and Phantom decided to go for Cloud9 and Lackey strats. J-Cog's going for the more traditional sushi, because if you have her first and it's a pretty cheap move, I pretty much use I'm one of the weirdos, but I'll upgrade sushi all the way really fast. But I know that's definitely out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I definitely don't upgrade sushi, but I can see Cloud9 being useful, because like even if you don't get the Cloud9, you're not going to take a whole lot of damage from this Lava Piranha anyways.
No, I've seen it last about as long as it takes them to hit him with 2 snowman dolls, and that's it.
Ralph has nothing but star pieces. I mean, that's going straight to the Cooper Fund.
Yep. At least they're relatively cheap too, all 4. I'm gonna watch Phantom because I want to see if... because Phantom doesn't have Bo marked either.
Yeah, because we see like M4's like on their way to Toy Box with Bo, which is honestly out of like the options are like Chapter 7, Sewers in Chapter 2, and Toy Box. I think Toy Box is like the best option because it's so easy to like, come back and dip here. It's like fast checks as well.
Oh yeah, there's like that.
So if you find say Parkari or another Ruins key even, like what we have 2 Ruins keys I think, and Pulstone. So if you find like a 3rd one for an example, that's well we still need Parkari, but we're getting closer to a hammer upgrade that way, which would lead to Altered Boots as well.
Yeah, without Without Watt, though, I believe only one's Ruins Key is in Logic right now, because one of them was in a hidden block.
Yep.
Which I might start bringing this philosophy into this. I guess Phantom, the way they run is they won't do stuff if it's like out of logic. Like they won't fight Lantern Ghost if they don't have Mystery Note, that kind of stuff.
So there's a lot to unpack here. Like in the toy box, F4 just picked up a toy train. The soil's there. Power Rush is here, and they also picked up a magical seed. So this room is popping off.
This is a very generous seed.
So this whole toy box first thing might actually be just a good play. And M4 already has cake, so they can pretty much check most of the toy box. And only really come back when they're able to beat it.
Oh, they're... Okay. Bo's in the sewer.
Oh, okay, that's what I missed. Then they probably got it right after Blooper.
Yes. Yep, and I probably was watching someone else, to be honest with you. Okay. So
yeah, I think my internet was out at the time, so I just missed it entirely.
So let's see.
Mystery solved.
Let's see what Phantom decides to do, because they're already in the sewer, so...
Yeah, like, routing-wise, it probably makes more sense to just ditch out the 7 since you're already here.
Yeah, without the odd key, this track kind of sucks, so... Oh, and no Bombette anyway, so you're already down here. Just see what they got. Especially if you find Bombette, you're in good shape.
Bombette would be a pretty big find. So now we have Phantom upgrading Bo. For what purpose? I don't know.
Not gonna help in the junior fight.
Yeah, maybe he wants to spook things later on.
Spook is great if that kid is high level.
Oh, whoa. That is someone very important to us right now. Yeah. That is a really big find for Phantom.
So Phantom, dipping 7. So I don't think there was an incorrect answer here. You could have went 4 or 7 and you're still right.
Yeah. And I'm sure 2 might have something.
So yeah, it's pretty likely that Phantom's about to fight, or at least do this part. I don't know if they're gonna push on and fight Junior, or if they're going to, I don't know,
well,
give options.
If Phantom used the warehouse key, I'm pretty sure fighting Junior might be on his mind. Well, I guess not necessarily. He wants power carry.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a question. Like, do you bail when you? I don't know if you bail when you grab Paracarry, but
I guess Phantom doesn't even have like a good partner set up for Junior. Don't have Watt. Don't have Bombette's bomb. Don't have Shell Shot. Like your best option is like Squirt, maybe.
Yeah, and we also don't know what difficulty this chapter. That's one of the double-edged swords of Chapter 7, is you don't know what it is until you're fighting a boss. Unless it's late and you can kind of guess on what it might be, it's a crapshoot, because this could be 7 skilled. And then you're probably not going to be able to beat Junior right now. Or the resources it would take to do so would just be awful.
So Junior's going to go pick up Dodge Master, and I think he's probably going to take advantage of the upgrade block there too.
Yeah, I've noticed people have definitely changed their mind on this upgrade block a little bit, because it used to be considered super slow and no one would go grab it, but there are situations where it's nice. I'd rather do this than the right side of the volcano one.
I only grab it if I'm either getting the item on that area that J-Cloud just did, or if I kind of need like an emergency level up for something I'm planning out. Then I'll use it. It's kind of like my backup upgrade block. Yeah, when I do this, I mostly upgrade Bombette and Watt. I usually don't spend that much time on the others, with the exception of some situations. And I can usually like get 4 upgrade blocks pretty easily.
Yeah, and obviously the other exception is that if you start with sushi, you probably just grab it. No reason to not level up sushi right away, but
Yeah, it looks like Phantom's planning on fighting Junior.
oh,
That equipment Dizzy Stomp told me all I need to know.
oh, you got shell shots, right?
Yeah, oh true. Yeah, you got the shell shots.
Let's see what scale this is.
3? Okay. It's vanilla. You got like 3 shell shots on them. And he's going to save, rightfully so. You're like kind of going to the unknown when you're a little unprepared.
Yeah, you might see the world's fastest reset if you see Junior with
44 HP.
44 HP, yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, 44 is the max.
Another fortress key into a box. I wonder if we're going to find Watts soon. We're finding a lot of like hidden block items in Toy Box specifically. That's progression.
Yeah, all of which is still out of logic. Oh, it is 44. This is dicey.
Work though, but he's on the 44, and he's probably going to do Cloud 9. Cloud 9 will actually bail him out a lot if he gets it.
See, what kind of damage is he gonna do? 7.
He's going to do a lot, so probably see Cloud 9 here, yeah, since Dizzy's Stomp didn't work. So Phantom's like kind of like a defensive game plan going into this Junior fight, which you kind of have to. You don't really have much in the way of power.
No. Alright, that's 1.
First Cloud 9.
And Hammer gonna get a little bit more damage here. Other crappy part about this fight is Junior heals.
In this fight?
I thought anytime he's in mage form he can heal. I might be wrong.
I know he does in Chapter 8, but I've never seen him heal in this fight.
3 in a row.
Cloud9's doing a lot of work. Like, if Phantom could get out of this without, like, losing life streams, that'd be pretty huge. Both in terms of, like, not losing the time for using a life stream and actually having it for later on. But he got all Cloud9 so far.
Yeah, this is... You couldn't ask for a better fight in the situation you're in.
And he gets it again!
Oh.
All these Cloud9s.
Okay, it couldn't happen forever, right? But yeah, maybe Junior just doesn't heal.
If he gets a Dizzy Stomp, though, he wins without losing Life Stream. Yeah, okay. Perfect. So, Junior dies next turn. No Life Stream's lost. Incredible.
I don't think you could have asked for a better fight. Is Cloud9 the greatest move in the game?
It might be.
I guess when you have lottery winning luck, yes. So yes, Chapter 7 is Chapter 7 scaled. Which is good. For me, I mean, you're kind of used to that anyway, right? That just means that General Guy won't be Chapter 7 scaled, which we already know that.
Yeah. So I have like 1 being a higher scale to say 7, right? Since most fights in Chapter 1 are like really cheesable, and at Chapter 7 scale they give you so much experience.
Oh yeah, Chapter 7, Chapter 1 is my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
Just getting 70, sometimes 70 star points just for beating pros, and like 50 plus for beating the cannon sometimes, depending on how many bullets you farm. Oh. Which in that situation, I usually, like, if it's going to take me 2 turns to kill the cannons anyway, if I have the option between 1 or 2 turns, I'll just let them fire once.
You know, Phantom got Cloud9 again on Monstar.
Has he just seen what he can get away with at this point? Because this doesn't even do that much damage. It's just kind of funny at this point.
Hey, if you don't have to block, you have to block up. There we go. Yes,
Yeah. I guess you know when your damage output isn't that high and you know it's going to take quite a few turns to beat this guy anyway. You might as well.
Yeah, and you Monster's the next turn anyway. So Phantom, thanks to Cloud9, avoided another fight. So using a Ice Room. Oh, you got it again. And looks like M4's here to pick up Cooper. Like, that's probably, like, another reason why you saw, like, M4 and JCOG go to Toy Box, because every station has a hidden panel star, right? Or not, star piece, rather.
Yeah.
So you kind of use that to farm what you need for Cooper, and I think that was probably their game plan. And the Runes Key as well. That's what, 3 Runes Keys?
Yes. Yep. 2 of which are not in Logic right now.
True. The only person that could actually do this is Phantom right now because he has power carry. But if he got his 3rd Runes Key, he could go get a hammer upgrade into the Ultra Boots upgrade pretty easily. And even if it's not in Logic, just that extra attack power you would desperately want.
Yeah.
Since the game didn't even give you attack up badges yet or anything of the sort.
There's been nothing as far as badges go.
And that would give Phantom a pretty big advantage just for combat alone until anyone else does Chapter 7. And even then, if like M4 or JCOG do like Chapter 2 first, they might be less inclined to just dip in Ruins without like the ability to beat it.
So the reasoning behind him doing Chapter 7 would probably be that he went to do those sewer checks after Chapter 5, when JCOG and MX did them before, so...
And as you've mentioned, that Phantom doesn't really like doing things out of Logic too much, and Bo is out of Logic, because Bo was in the hidden block in the sewers, right? So
yeah!
So which would be all the Toy Boxes out of Logic.
That is very... yes. Yep. Man, there's... Watt technically has high value this seed. Boy, MX rolling them bones. Using a mystery.
I love the mystery use.
Electro blooper, so blooper is relatively free. I mean, 1 out of every 3 attacks, he's just like, yeah, I'm just not going to do anything this turn. So if we're following that logic, yeah, Phantom might be going to Chapter 2 here?
Yeah, I would imagine. I can't really see the numbers on the tracker too well, but how many Runes Keys does Phantom have?
Zoom in here if I can. Phantom has 1, it looks like.
And he didn't really... Like, he's picking up star pieces now, so I don't know what star pieces he has, but if he does make the Cooper play, or at least go for the Ruins Key. That way, like, if he's thinking of Chapter 2, you might want that Ruins Key first, because you have the Pulse Stone already. And he has Parikari, so if he could get his 3rd Ruins Key, which I think was in Toy Box. But I don't really see him kind of just going in Toy Box without Watt, if he's sticking to out of Logic stuff, or in Logic.
Yeah, I'm guessing he just hasn't marked it because the second one was the first one was in the jungle. Oh, you know what? He might not have, it might be from here. He might not have had like any star pieces the first time he came to here.
He didn't get the Merlot one yet. Which I think he's on his way to do now. He's planning on a Chapter 2 visit. And he could get lucky and find like the 4th Ruins Key somewhere. And that could give him the hammer. If he doesn't want to make the Toy Box play.
Grab some money here. Only 2 sword pieces to the next reward. Just juggling items now. And there we go. Now we'll never see Merlot again. Until the other runners go there.
So we have Starstone from M4. The check-in prologue first, as you would kind of expect.
Yeah, prologue's pretty free.
And making the decision to not do Gomu King, which is fair. Your AoE at this point is Spiny Surge. Like, I wouldn't want to play Gomu King either.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lunar Stone.
So we just don't know where we know where the Pyramid Stone is, we just don't know where the Diamond Stone is.
Yeah, so Chapter 2 is pretty... So they're going to be like an Alter Boots early kind of seed. But the thing will be interesting if we find the Diamond Stone earlier. For those runners that haven't had Parakari yet. Like, they could beat Chapter 2 without getting the hammer upgrade, right?
Yeah.
And once we find Parakari, would they want to come back to make sure they get their upgrades in Alter Boots or not?
Ooh.
Especially when the Alter Boots blocks would be in Logic, especially that early.
You know, we had the same question 2 weeks ago, I believe, and it was actually on you. We were asking whether or not you took the time to go get the Ultra Boots or not, and my response, I think, is the same as it is now. If that situation happens, it would depend on, I think, if you feel you're ahead or not. You know, like I feel like you had to feel like you were ahead going, you know, in go mode that early, but
yeah, and in like the last seed I did, when I saw like a sub 230 go mode, I'm like, yeah, I did it anyways for power, but I regretted it at the time because I was strong enough as it is. But like in this scenario, it's different because of how early it's opened, right?
yeah,
I was in go mode, then had that option of choosing Ultra Boots. This is different because there's Ultra Boots blocks that could have progression.
yeah, that's true. Yours was specifically for power, so
Yeah, not specifically for go mode and for power. This could be like, there's a check behind it, and everybody else's case but Phantom might have the decision to make to backtrack just for the hammer. And that opens up if we get the Diamond Stone early enough. Like, if Diamond Stone's in this desert, M4 could just potentially beat Chapter 2, right? I mean, can't tell if they have 2 or 3 keys, because I'm not wearing glasses, personally, but...
yeah. Oh, he Phantom never went into the toy box, so he just doesn't have the third.
Yeah.
Jake though is one of the ones that had. Oh no, Jake and M4 both have
3?
3 Koopa Brothers keys. They haven't found the one in Chapter 7 yet. The Ruin Scheme, Chapter 7, rather.
Yeah, so like if this Diamond Stone is in the desert and J-Cog and M4 choose to beat Chapter 2, it's going to get very awkward once they find Paracarry. Because Ruin's Jump is banned in like race settings, so they're going to have to wait for Paracarry to actually go there.
Oh, actually, Pulse Stone was in the toy box, wasn't it?
Pulse Stone was in the jungle. Not, well, it was in Yoshi Village. The Pulse Stone.
Was in Yoshiville, so Phantom must just not have it marked.
Yeah, I imagine. It'd be weird for him to skip that, because it was in the palm tree. Right by the inn.
That's right.
So I'd imagine Phantom just doesn't have it marked. Or if he forgot that check, that's going to be very awkward. Later on.
Yeah.
So, for Phantom's case, I hope he just did mark it. I can't remember off the top of my head if he grabbed it, but... small mistakes like that does happen, and it's costly. And that was the second seed that M4 just found, so that is 6 access.
And we know where most of the berries are. We just don't know where a red berry is yet, but we got the water stone as well as the crystal berry, so it's quite a bit you could do in chapter 6 right now.
Yeah, so I'd imagine chapter 6 is like naturally like where I would go if I was M4 after I'm done with Desert. Like I probably wouldn't think about chapter 7. Knowing that like chapter 6 is like a very easy chapter to dip in and fast. And you could theoretically just do all the... Like, you don't have the Crystal Berry yet at this point, but you can do every other check. Except for the Crystal Berry check in the... What berry are we missing again? Red?
It was red, but there it is.
Oh. Oh yeah, M4 was picked it up then. Problems in the shop.
And I brought it up last race as well, and I'll bring it up to you. I think, in my personal opinion, like everyone craps on how bad Gooba King is, and they're bad checks, trust me, and saving the Yoshis and all that. I think an underrated worst check in the game is Rosie. Rosie is just awful for what you have to do the one check, and it requires an item to check it. At least the Gooba King, you just gotta fight him. It's long, but you gotta fight, well, 2 fights, I guess, but in Rosie, you gotta do that fight, then you gotta do the maze, and you have to have the item to even do it. And you have to have the berry to even get in there.
It's probably like my least favorite check to do. That with the Laggy fight I'm not too keen on.
Yeah. All that for one check. I didn't see, did M4 actually open any doors in there?
I don't know, actually. I know they opened up the ruins, but I was kind of looking at like Phantom Screen getting the berry stuff, so I missed a bit of it. And trying to like watch him Puffy Screen as well, who has beaten chapter 5, and then saw them fight bloopers as well. So I think they opened up the shortcut.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to what Phantom's going to do here. He's also the only one that can... Was that Bombette up there?
That sure was Bombette up there. I definitely missed M4 grab that.
Yep. M4's got it marked, so... Okay, yeah. There we go. Hello, Queen.
At this point in C, Bombette itself doesn't really open up anything except for Rip Cheeto. Currently.
Yeah. It also at least gives us some...
Like, oh, that's the Diamond Stone.
Oh! Well, that was artifact locked, wasn't it?
Yep.
Ooh, does Phantom have the artifact?
I don't remember, like... I probably missed M4 grab this as well, but, like, I think the artifact might be in the desert. Because I was kind of watching elsewhere and didn't see the artifact. Unless he's like in the box and I missed that.
I remember seeing it being grabbed, I just don't remember where it was. Okay, Phantom just did not mark the Pulse Stone.
Okay.
But it may have been out of logic, so he just might not be going in there. And he didn't turn in the artifact, so it must have been in the toy box.
Well, Pulse Stone itself is... Well, if he went through the trouble to grab, like, Ruins Key or whatever, specifically before this. So it'd be weird to, like, at least not dip in Ruins if you're going to do that.
Yep, we're done with star pieces. Well, at least Phantom is. Phantom's also the only one that can check the bulb.
Yeah, that's true. If this bulb has something, that's going to be very massive for Phantom.
Ooh, it's red key. Ooh wee.
Nope, it's nothing.
That would be, imagine if that was a red key, that would be
If that was a red key.
massive.
Red key would have been like the biggest bait because it might force the other runners who don't have parkour at that point to use the blue key, right?
Yeah.
That would.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And they would just have to go in because they would get
Yeah.
carry on the way.
But luckily that's not the case. Oh,
Yeah.
but what is the case is M4 picking up Watt and Mount Rugged, and Phantom
Ooh.
struggling to do the same.
All right. And Watt puts everything in logic now.
Yep. So I imagine Phantom's gonna. Well, this actually gives for completion, so. We're gonna probably see a runner just go to Toy Box and beat it.
Yes.
And 4 has already done pretty much most of the checks there. We'll probably just walk in, beat up General Gun, and leave. Or Phantom will actually take his time to do all the checks.
Ice Power Life Shroom number 901. Puppy's actually in the same place too, so I think only Puppy's essentially just a few toy box checks behind, right?
Yeah, I don't think Puppy did Toy Box. Yeah, actually Puppy doesn't have both, so obviously Puppy didn't do Toy Box.
Oh, Puppy
He
never
probably still has like a lot of work to do, but being in the same area as everyone else, at least holding his own.
Glad to see it. Puppy's gonna be winning these races one day.
Yeah, I mean Puppy's still new to this whole race thing. So wow, that is another Runes key.
Oh, right in the beginning. Oh, Phantom is
That's-
100 double back.
So 4's complete, able to be completed. 2's able to be completed.
Only issue with Phantom is Phantom does not know where that diamond.
Stones, yeah.
And I don't, like I said, I don't quite remember where it was at. I remember seeing it be picked up, but I don't remember where. It may have been Toy Box.
The artifact, yeah, I don't remember. If it could be Toy Box, which Phantom seems to be headed to right now. So if that's the case, then like depending how like Ruins plays out for those who have Paracarry and those and Phantom, that could be like a big swing into his favor, just on potential Ultra Hammer and Ultra Boots.
And oh, Phantom's gonna be able to just finish the Toy Box in one go.
Yep. Because Toy Train is indeed in the blue station. And Phantom has everything else he needs to be able to be 4.
There we go. Okay, I do remember seeing it on the ground. So Artifact was the Gourmet Guy check. So Phantom doesn't know it yet, but Phantom is perfectly routing it. I mean, he doesn't know what's on the artifact, but we know.
Now the problem is when Phantom wants to go to the ruins, because you did the desert, right? You're not just going to pick that up on the way. You have to consciously make the effort to check ruins without the diamond stone, then hand in the artifact.
Yes.
And I'm assuming Phantom has the seeds as well that he didn't mark. Because I know I forget what the yellow seed was, but I know the blue seed was in the desert.
Phantom just hit the box. There we go. Yeah. Super jump charge.
And so M4 decides to fight Lantern Ghost. Which, I mean, is fair. Like, backtracking for this is bad, and 4 is not... I mean, 4 is weak.
Yeah,
so unfortunately, so is Mario.
Yeah. Phantom's gonna get that power spike soon now.
Yeah. Well, I guess one's not that weak if you have like Power Rush and all that on, but
Oh, there was the yellow seed. It was right in the toy box.
and Mega Jump as well. Okay, I guess M4 was like well equipped for this fight. I didn't see their badge equipped, so. Vandergo's had a Repel Gel, which is nice, but I think M4 has some already. Has multiple already.
Yeah, they've been generous with the repels and the life shrooms. We're ready for Bowser. We just gotta get there. Maybe get a little more power.
Yeah, our only power badges right now are like Power Plus and Mega Rush. We don't have Power Bounce or anything of the sort to even abuse the additional power we would get. I'm curious to see where M4 would go after Toy Box. Because it looks like they're ahead right now, but Phantom has most of 7, or at least the Shiver City area, checked off and done.
Yep. All the way through Monstar, and M4 still has a Chapter 7 Junior fight to do.
Yep.
Granted, it will probably be a little faster than Phantom.
And with 2 completable, would they want to do 2 right away? Or go to 7? That's also like the option.
Yeah.
So like Phantom has the having Parikari advantage that no other runner has yet.
Yeah, so M4 can go finish 2, but can't get the hammer. Phantom, not so much. Jaycog's about to be in the same boat.
Yeah, I feel like Jaycog and M4 are like similar routing choices.
All or nothing. There's some power. Now, is it useful?
Hopefully.
And I could only wish to get that skip that fast. I'm like slowly lining it up, trying to make sure Mario clips into that corner. Phantom's just boom, there it is. Jaycog hasn't been up to Shooting Star Summit yet, has he?
To pick up Cooper? Or like in general?
In general.
I think he must have checked it by now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. He's picking up Star Piece. Okay. So he knows about the key too. Because I'm wondering why he only has 1 key. He's gonna grab the second one right here.
And the third one when he goes pick up Cooper and all that. Like he must have, because normally you would at least check it like after, like before you go chapter 1 or after. And he's gonna pick them up right now, yeah. So he knows.
So he'll get this third key, and he can beat 4 and 2 as well.
Yep. And you can also dip into 6 now that he has both seeds.
Phantom just has the Paracarry advantage right now.
Yep, and you saw Phantom pick up the artifact, so now it's only time will tell when he decides to hand that in.
Right, it's a hard sell to go all the way back there just for that, praying that, like, because, you know, we know, but he has no idea what that is. I'm forfeiting up a second Star Spirit. We have seen nothing for Chapter 3.
Yeah, that's true. Like, no Boo Portrait, no Tubba's Keys, nothing. Closest thing after Chapter 3 completion is Super Boots and Paracarry. And logically Bow, but that's it.
Yeah, and for Chapter 7, all we need is a red key in a bucket. We just need a seed for Chapter 6. And then 1 key for Chapter 1. And then everything for Chapter 3.
Yeah, Chapter 3 is really far away from being go-moded. Looks like Jaycog might be taking the visit back to... No? Jaycog's running back and forth. Unsure what he wants to do, it looks like. It looks like Jacob's choosing the toy box route.
Oh, okay. That's good. Put him
Looks
right
like
up.
he's contemplating going back to 2 for a second, but ultimately chose toy box.
Yeah, he knows he's done. Well, probably. I have to imagine because he already has the Diamond Stone, and the only thing left are a few checks in the ruins that he hasn't done.
Getting ready for anti-guy.
This is not in logic yet. So let's see what he gets.
And M4 just got another repel from handing in the dolly. But M4 is combining that with looks to be like Chapter 2 completion, so this will be without Paracarry. So if Alter Boots blocks have anything important, this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Or if M4 decides to come back for the Alter Hammer when they find Paracarry.
And with what they have, I don't know if I'd be jumping to do... Well, I don't know. Maybe you do Chapter 7 after this. But you're just as likely to
Depends
do...
what Ralph has and what like Runes has, right? If that like kind of gives you Boo Portrait and Tubba's Key, actually you still can't do anything with that too much because you don't Paracarry yet. So I think 7 would be like the most logical explanation to go.
Yeah, I figured either 7 or you can go pretty deep into 1, right?
Oh yeah, 1 would be another option as well. The 3 keys. Because we're getting very close to being Paracarry locked. We're like, we're really have 3 runners be forced to do 7. And there's like Phantoms fighting Lantern Ghost. Which we know that's a repel gel. It's nothing like progression wise.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I think he just said today about that lot. I mean, maybe Mr. Note we saw it already, and that's not something I exactly pay attention to, so...
Yeah, like, Mystery Note is basically like a dead island to me. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, someone very well could have seen it, but I would have never paid attention. I already missed them picking up stuff that matters, so...
Since it's like, Chapter 4 is like super weak, right? So even without the Mystery Note, it could be a good idea just to fight it anyways. Won't take a whole lot. I've never seen that like dizzy animation for Lantern Ghost. It's so funny. I like it.
It is. That is really cool, actually. Big fan of that animation. That would be a cool emo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be good. Yeah, I like it a lot. And Jaycog's also fighting Lantern Ghost, so our runner's playing on the safer side, making sure they don't skip that, because that's a bad check to come back to. Even if Toybox is fast to like dip in, to like double dip back, doing it for Lantern Ghost specifically just feels wrong.
Puppy going right for... Nope. I lied. Going for... I don't know what Puppy's going for.
Puppy must have bomb bed, right? Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. Just didn't mark it. So Puppy's going for a Cheeto. The
Yeah.
first runner to do so, so...
So something I noticed last time, because I commented the first race Puppy was in, you gotta watch Puppy and what they're doing, because when they get a certain amount into the race, he just starts kind of forgetting to mark his tracker. So you gotta watch him.
Honestly, that's a mood.
Yeah.
Puffy going further into Rib Cheeto than Logic, but you have all those coins, and you found out last time it's something that'd be very useful. Or just any good items in general.
Oh no, that's disgusting. You see that? All or Nothing and Mega Rush are 6.
Oh. Yikes.
Yeah. So we're gonna hope for a cheap Power Plus, which with balanced settings, what's the cheapest it can be? 4?
Yeah, unless you roll like the 10% chance for it to be like 1 or something.
Those are great. Honestly, I love those seeds sometimes where you just play with full unbalance and you have like it's
That
crazy.
That happened with Mega Rush, but it ended up being 6, so it happened the wrong one.
You'll see those seeds and like Deep Focus will be 8 BP, but somehow you'll get like 1 BP Power Pluses. Like, yes, all things even as they should be.
Alright, that's the third chapter bean for M4.
And we got Phantom and JCog a few steps behind. Actually, JCog and Phantom are in the exact same room.
I'm trying to think like where M4 would go. Like even if they go to 7 and get Paracarry, that doesn't technically open a whole lot, except for coming back and getting your Ultra Hammer upgrade.
Yeah.
So it makes me think like the next big progression might be either on this tree out after Ruins or Ralph maybe. Like I think we need like the bucket boost portrait on.
Yeah.
So I feel like one of those two might be on Ralph. It's either that or the fears of like Ultra Boots blocking sewers having something, right? That could technically be a thing.
Yeah, because
it's technically logic.
Logic, yep.
Yeah. But that's scary to think about.
Man, that's 3 chapters down, sub 130. That's pretty good. There's some seeds where you're struggling to beat the first chapter in that amount of time.
I don't know if M4 checked much of 6 or anything at all. Like, there's still that to consider. So 6 could have one of those things as items as well.
Herb. I'm gonna guess there's something in the bad shop here.
And bad shop or 6? I don't think M4 really checked 6 yet. I'm pretty sure they opened the way, but I don't know if they actually, like, thoroughly checked it.
But M4 never turned in the mailbag.
Juno's not really anything.
No, it's just gonna be
Melody, and I don't think that led to anything. It was just some weird fetch quest.
It was a super shroom. Wasn't great. Yeah, if they haven't done too much in 6, there's the beat.
Well, that's 6. That's 6 beatable.
Yep, and our first key.
That is a very good find. Oh, the second key's there too! And just like that.
I don't think, thinking about it, I don't think M4 ever checked the shop after beating the second chapter.
Well, no, because you had 2 chapters completable at the time, so instead of being 1 chapter check Ralph, then beat the other chapter check Ralph, just beat them together and do all Ralph checks at once. It's probably like the play here.
Oh, wow, Jaycog actually just pulled ahead of Phantom in the general guy fight. He just Giga super jumped him. Super jump charged him.
So yeah, we haven't checked 6 yet at all from anyone, so like Bucket or something could be here, or Boost Portrait. Which at this point, Boost Portrait would be a pretty good find too. Because like there's access to his castle and we know where Parakarry is. And being able to beat 6 right now is nice as well.
Quite a few checks, dude.
So I think M4's only missing, what, 4 things for go mode? Or 5. Portrait Key, both for Tubba and Fortress, Bucket and Parakarry.
Oh, and Red Key.
Oh, and Red Key, I forgot about that. It's okay, so 6. So we're getting there.
But the Red Key, I mean, the odds gotta be that it's somewhere probably close. It's gonna be somewhere on the way, like, most likely. I don't think it's gonna be out of the way. Honestly,
the key, which we know would lead to pretty much nothing, since Puffy did those with Cheeto checks and didn't get anything of it. But Puffy's is in Chapter 1, so I think Puffy might be planning a little trip to the fortress.
I have the fortress.
It's in logic, so I'm curious to see what's there, because that could be our Red Key for all we know.
Yeah.
Or Bucket. Or, imagine, the 4th fortress key. Like, having to dip there without the 4th one.
Just beat it, yeah. Ugh.
I hate seeds like that.
Yeah, it happens a lot in Chapter... oddly enough, it happens a lot in Chapter 3. One of the Tubba...
Yeah, I see that a lot. I think this last seed I did for Pape Races, like, a few weeks ago, I think the last Tubba's key was right before the castle.
Oh yeah, it was on the, in the Tubba room, or the Clubba room.
Oh no, that was the Starstone. It was like the room right before the castle itself, like in one of the blocks.
Oh,
so you had to like go dip there with only 2 keys just to find the 3rd.
Yeah, I knew there was something there that was important.
Oh, could be down.
Some power.
Surely. Oh, Phantom didn't clear the top part of desert at all.
Oh.
So Phantom got the 2nd seed doing so, and that's good for Phantom because that incentivizes him to go back to desert where he'll hand in the artifact and do the ruins. And Phantom could get his Ultra Hammer this way too. So he's probably going to go hand in the artifact right now. So Phantom could just beat 2 right now and then beat 6.
Yeah, we could also see what's in the left. Well, I guess there's only 2 checks that they didn't have access to, so... if Slowgo's something too, that's pretty big. But yeah, the biggest thing that's being locked is definitely stuff behind Ultra Boots.
Yeah, like... It's hard to say who's winning between Phantom and M4 right now. Because, like, M4's about to beat their 4th chapter, while Phantom's kind of working on his 3rd. But, like, the whole Parakarry advantage could be huge. Because I'd imagine Phantom will probably just get his Ultra Hammer while he's here. Then he'll get Ultra Boots.
And M4 isn't really... I mean, at least if I was M4, I wouldn't be... Well, now that M4 has the odd key, maybe they take the shot and go to 7, but without the bucket, I'm not really jumping to go there yet.
Yeah. Same here. But, like, we're soon going to get to the point where you're Parakarry locked, so, like, top to 7 be your only option. Unless you do desperate stuff like Goomba King first, which I kind of don't see happening.
No.
When you have, like, Shiver City, which is generally kind of fast, and Odd Key is the fast way to go back there.
Yeah, Odd Key is certainly... Oh, there's the Boo Portrait.
Oh, that's the Boo Portrait.
So with our perfect knowledge, the only
thing no, it is here.
Oh.
It is here. Wow. Vanilla Fortress Key, huh? Is that the kind of sea we're playing?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, you don't gotta do that fight.
Yeah, you could just. He's
Oh.
probably doing it anyways. But that's interesting now because now we have this whole game of who's gonna make, like whoever decides to, anyone else to make the Fortress play now gets rewarded a lot. Especially if Phantom does it because he already has Paracarry. So that Blue Portrait will carry him the chapter 3 immediately.
Yeah.
Vanilla Fortress key. Wild.
So with our perfect knowledge, we just don't know where the bucket and the red key are.
And if we're still missing one toughest key.
Oh, and well, we must have missed because M4 has it marked off.
Oh, really? Oh, we probably missed it then. I was kind of busy watching the Blue Portrait, so they probably just got it. And based on where their location is, it was probably the well then.
Yeah.
If they marked it off. Then they saw what was in the tree and there was nothing. And they're doing wells now, so they marked it off as probably like well or in that area. So just bucket and red key.
We'll see here soon because JCOG would be coming up to right where it was probably at.
Yeah, he's doing the blueberry check right now for the well, so I'm pretty sure this was the third key then. It sure was, okay. Got distracted by the Vanilla Fortress key. Makes me sad every time I see it.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be like very. I don't know how this is gonna play out really, because at this point they definitely need Paracarry. So they have to dip into 7 to dip into 1 to beat 1 to go beat 3. So we're getting very close.
Yeah, we're just a few Chapter 7 items away. And honestly, with perfect knowledge, you kind of hope the runners would then see... Honestly, the last item I would want to see, knowing what I know, would be the bucket, I guess, right? Because...
Yeah. Like, if you had to choose, it'd be bucket.
Then you just
that way, it kind of eliminates the need for the blue key seed, which is still an option.
Ugh. Yeah,
like we saw Vanilla Fortress key. What if it's Vanilla Red key too?
Oh man, that's happened 1 or 2 seeds on the race, past races, I believe. Or the Palace key was there or something. At least we know where the Palace key is at, but... See what's in the pit.
You still got like plenty of chapter 6 left to check, so we could get like one of our items here as well. Hopefully. Oh, power balance, that's a good find.
Yeah.
Oh, and the red key. Just as good. Okay, so we're just... Our perfect knowledge is just missing the bucket.
Yep. Yep.
And stone, okay. I guess Yellowberry had everything.
Rosie's area always just has the points. If it's not Rosie herself...
Oh, the bucket. Okay, we know where everything is.
If it doesn't come from Rosie herself, her area give it. Like, Bubbleberry Tree, the tree next to her, those invisible... Like, there's always something here. Such a good area.
Yeah, so for M4 to be in go mode, they just have to dip chapter 1 and 7.
Yeah. In...
Which 7 is completable, so that... So it's the seed is naturally taken from 7.
Yeah, I think with that... I think it's pretty safe to say that M4 is probably in the lead right now.
Yeah, like like the fact that there's no progression in chapter 3 or anything makes the whole Paracarry find early for Phantom not really help.
Yeah.
Like if there is progression into his castle, then this whole para-carry find would be really huge. Or if like the Ultra Boost block had something, would have been really good for Phantom's favor.
Yeah, just with natural progression, there's no reason for M4 to not just kind of just do the game. Just do it in order.
I'm a little worried about like power-wise because some of those badges are expensive. Like we see our runners aren't the strongest Marios right now, which means would M4 just want to go once M4 finds para-carry to go to ruins to get the Ultra Hammer to get the Ultra Boots. Just the power that you're kind of missing. Another ruins key. Hopefully M4 dips into 1 before dipping into 7 though, because if you dip into 7 first, you might kind of be... Like, M4 would be kind of checking all of Ice Palace when we know that you could just skip Ice Palace.
Yes.
If you dip into 1.
Yeah, that is the only hiccup I see them running into. Is you can beat 7, but you can't beat 4, and the odds of a Chapter 1 key being in Chapter 7 is... You gotta imagine it's pretty high, right?
Yeah, like... Density-wise, like, you could beat these chapters, and you could just do the checks while you're at it. So it's like, on paper it makes sense, and I would make those same kind of plays in that situation. But knowing what we know, like, the option of skipping Ice Palace is there, right? And if we could do that, then... Obviously you want to go for it.
Oh, any chance I get, I skip that.
Like, if there's any other chapter to dip in first, it would also make sense, because, like, to dip into a quick chapter to avoid potentially checking Chapter 7 would be nice, but when that chapter's Chapter 1, which is also slow to check, when you can't beat it, it gets kind of rough. Like, M4 right now is probably full clearing 6, or almost, because they seem to be going to go fight Lackey.
Yeah, well, they already found so much here.
Yeah.
Like, this place has everything. And unfortunately, we know Puffy is definitely barking up the wrong tree here. Chapter 3 has 0 progression. That looks like where he is headed.
It's just, Puffy doesn't have para-carry, so the checks Puffy's doing is Boo Portrait, then go to Gusty Gulch for 2 checks, or 3 checks, and then leave.
Yeah, not having para-carry is actually going to save him a little bit of time here.
Yeah, so you're not... Like, you get to full clear set, or just skip 7 and 3. Just complete it immediately. It's kind of nice.
Back when we still needed 4 seeds for Chapter 6, it was fantastic being able to just not check anything in there either. Because sometimes your go mode item was like the 4th seed or something, and you just would never go in there.
Yeah.
I think that's why we went down to 2 seeds, because that happened more often than not. And honestly, Chapter 6 is kind of a cool chapter for checks now.
Yeah,
and,
I like it.
It's a hub. All the checks are like kind of gated a little bit, so you know what you can do when you can't. It wasn't a bad move, and yeah, so 2 seeds makes it a little nicer. I don't even know how we do this, but I think what needs to be considered is how do we make Chapter 5 more intensive, if that makes any sense. Not intensive, more gated, because it's always first.
Yeah, I don't know this whole lot we do about it. Like, not like we just add progression for 5, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it's more intensive if you do full gear shuffle because you need the Ultra Hammer, but that's it.
Yeah, that's like the only way that it isn't. And we tried that. That sucked.
Yeah. So like the option was there, but like Phantom finding 2 Toes keys back to back. I really want to know when Phantom decides to go to Chapter 1. That's going to be like pretty huge because Phantom already has para carry. That could be like Phantom's way back in this.
Phantom did not go any deeper.
And it didn't even go to 6 right now either. Even though 6 is completable for him.
Going up to 7? Or...
Oh, he's going to get lots of boosts. That makes sense.
The only one who can.
The only one who's doing that right now.
Yeah, power-wise, this is good. Checks-wise, we know it doesn't matter, but power-wise, it'll help a lot.
Yeah, especially if we're going to be fighting Huff, right? You need that extra power. And Phantom doesn't know this yet, but Power Bounce is in Chapter 6. So you can just charge Bounce Huff for a fight. Which is like a very fast way of dealing with them.
Yeah, M4 is going to be going for the same strat, looks like. Pulling out bow.
I'm not charging, it's going straight for the bounce. I mean, it's generally kind of strong, so why not? And 6 is less strong.
Ooh, don't hate to see that. Jacob eating a life shroom on Lackey.
Oof.
What's Puppy's plan now?
Good question.
Puppy must not know the power of how important Chapter 4 is.
Yeah,
how many books there actually are.
Like, what's hurting Puppy right now is not checking that area in the sewers where Bo is. Because that's pretty much going to lead Puffy to everything. Even, like, the Chapter 7 area, like, Puffy could do at the same time.
He never made it there yet, that's right. Could
Maybe
be
Puffy could do a second run with Paracarry. And it looks like that seems to be what's going to be happening. Puffy's in that direction. So probably wanted to drop off the dolly, I guess, at the same time, which makes sense from a rounding perspective. Oh no, Puffy, ride the spikes!
Yeah. He's gonna find Paracarry, but might send him
partner, but there's another partner asking to be rescued.
The M4 opted to need a life shroom there. Ooh.
I probably would have done a charge fight in that scenario. It usually ends before the electricity turn. But I don't know how much like charging costs. I'm not fast enough to see it run or match into the text.
Yeah, me either. I know a lot of the power ones are.
So I don't know if like charging and bouncing afterwards is doable with like 10 FP, but if it is, then it's probably the fight I would have done.
M4 kind of in a rough spot here. Trying to figure out what they can do. They're always going to be just short, and this doesn't put them into desperation mode, I don't think. Is it 5 or less that puts
them? Yeah, it's 5 or less that puts them in desperation.
Ooh, don't want to see that attack. This is going to be another life shroom.
Yeah.
They're just giving up on the mashing.
Even if you block the wind, you still die.
And then we're gonna get 4 and then 5 more. Okay,
Like,
so
this is hard with, like, Mario's bounces are 2 each, right? Like, this is generally weak Mario. You don't really have Power Plus. I don't know how much Power Plus even costs yet. I didn't see Puppy look at it yet. But
no, me either. Oh, take a few more steps down though. Ooh, I don't even think the puppy saw what was in there.
well, Puppy tried to open it, but got stopped, so Puppy has to start the murder or finish it. Or reload the room. Is one way to do it.
I didn't know you could do that.
Me neither, actually.
I thought you kind of just had to do the murder.
Yeah, like, I definitely saw Puppy get stopped and then reload the room and you could just break it. Oh, but at the same time, like, Puppy started the murder, so maybe he didn't have to finish it because he did the hand in the warehouse key first, so maybe that was it. Like, reloading him after doing that, which is interesting. But Puffy's our second round with Paracarry now.
M4 and Jacob pretty much neck and neck here, actually.
I also wonder if Puffy's going to think about Chapter 3 again, now that Paracarry is in his inventory.
That would be unfortunate.
Because we know Chapter 3 doesn't have anything.
There's nothing there.
Phantom with the third key. Phantom just needs to dip into that Chapter 1 after getting... Like, Phantom's go mode will be this Blue Portrait and Fortress Key, which are beside each other.
Yep.
So, M4 is technically in the lead, but if Phantom makes his Chapter 1 play first, Phantom will be in the lead.
See Jacob's items here. Oh, Jacob just hasn't done 2, so he's a full Chapter 2 behind M4.
Yeah.
Phantom, hard to tell. Phantom's a tough fight and a bunch of Chapter 6 checks behind him. Behind M4, rather.
Yeah. And we'll have to get the bucket as well.
Yes. But still...
And M4 seems to be headed to Chapter 7. So that's good. M4 will get Paracarry, but M4 is probably going to be heading to Ice Palace checks.
Yeah, that is honestly what Phantom probably needed.
Yeah, but now Phantom has to make the Chapter 1 play, because Phantom can do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because Phantom did do Chapter 7, but now that Phantom has Bucket as well, Phantom can just go complete Ice Palace and do those checks too. So it's whether Phantom wants to make that Chapter 1 dip first, and if he does, then he'll probably be in the lead.
Yeah, it's just a hard sale when, you know,
It's really hard to sell the dip Chapter 1 when you can't beat it yet, but you could beat like half the other chapters that are available.
Yeah, like you can easily beat Chapter 7 and there's a lot of checks there and you don't know where the rest of the items are at.
Yep, like it's like even like on paper, like just what M4's doing is a good play. We just know it won't work out in the seed.
Yeah, it is the correct play. We just know it's the one that's going to work.
Mm-hmm. And then M4 sub Paracarry. So this is basically part of the seed where you kind of are forced into 7 almost, for those who hasn't been there yet.
We dipped in Chapter 2. Very possible... Oh! Never mind. Puffy 100% cannot beat it. Even if he didn't mark his tracker, he hasn't been to the toy box yet, so...
Yeah, which means we know that on soon. And Jacog's on his way to 7 will be the last runner to get Paracarry.
Looking at J-Cog's items, he can also beat 7, so his is a little harder to read because he doesn't have that thing on, but
Yeah.
the highlight. But yeah, he has everything, so it's the correct play. Like in this context, it's the wrong one, but it's
at least for J-Cogs. For J-Cogs and actually I think it's really affects M4 because everyone else has Paracarry for Ruins. Everyone else could get their Ultra Hammer into Ultra Boots. M4 would have to backtrack to do that.
And that's maybe what J-Cog is waiting on. Like, there's a world here, actually, where J-Cog just grabs Paracarry and dips.
It's possible, but as you said, like, with Chapter 7 beatable, you might as well do with all the checks available, like Snowman's Gifts, all that.
Yeah, they're...
The next puzzle itself has several checks.
Yeah, it's tough, because we have perfect knowledge here. What they're all doing is the correct play.
Yeah, I agree with it.
I wonder if we see people going into fight Bowser without Ultra Hammer or Ultra Boots.
Okay. I could see potentially M4 doing that because we'll have to backtrack a lot just for the Ultra Hammer. But like power-wise, the seed hasn't been too kind.
No.
Like without any like charges or anything, your jumps right now are doing 2.
Yeah, even
Power Plus is in the fortress, so maybe that will be cheap enough to warrant.
Crystal Berry is absolutely bait. Alright, let's see how M4 handles this fight. M4 is a little more equipped than Phantom was when he bought Junior.
Yeah. Though Phantom just got every Cloud 9 imaginable, so...
Yeah. My god.
Doing unblock for both attacks from Junior would have put M4 in peril, I think.
No.
Unless you have damage dodge on and don't see, but...
That's...
I don't know if they have damage dodge on or not.
That'll do it, though.
Yeah, that works. Well, not quite. Like, they're just trying to stall for that, yeah. Paralyzing Junior.
Is that an easier mash than just using regular power shot, or is it just cheaper?
It's... Regardless, what Power Shock does, it has a bias to fail. So if you get, say, 50%, it's not a 50% chance. It's lower. Like, that was, like, around 60% mash, it was lower than 60% chance to work. Like, it's, again, like, the Power Shock works against you. Mega Shock does not. So Mega Shock is, like, what you see is what you get. So people will Mega Shock just for the additional chance to paralyze. Even if it's more expensive.
It's enough. I did not know that about Mega. I kind of knew that about Power.
Yeah, but Mega Shock does not have that fail bias. So that'd be like even. So we're gonna cost would be the reason to use it over Power Shock.
J-Cog bailing and going to the desert. Actually, a good call.
Yeah, and Puffy just got his Ultra Boots as well. And fighting some enemies for more experience. Like, as bad as doing these Ice Palace checks would be, if M4 could find something like Last Stand or another Power Plus, anything to increase their power, it'd make the endgame a lot like easier to deal with.
Yeah, right now we're not looking at a particularly safe endgame. I mean, besides the fact that we have a lot of life shrooms to burn, but it's still gonna be tough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd still be a really slow fight, even with all those life streams.
Phantom must be, yeah. I didn't see the indicator above his
Yeah,
head.
okay, charge is 3, so if I was on 4, I definitely would have done like a charge fight. Yeah, it might have worked out better.
Oh.
I mean, it's working for Phantom because Phantom has Ultra Boots, so that's another thing to consider. Phantom just bounced forever and just did a really fast, tough fight.
Yeah. Just turned Puff into a fine paste.
And Phantom did have more FP than M4, so Phantom's better equipped for charge fights. When M4 had 10 during Huff.
So as it stands, Phantom would likely have currently have a better junior fight, depending on what M4 finds in the Ice Palace. J-Cog's not out of this yet.
Yeah, J-Cog's going B2, get Ultra Boots, and I imagine... Yeah, Ultra Hammer, then Ultra Boots after 2. And we go from there.
The other part not working in our runner's favor here is that getting the Ultra Boots just lines up so well with just going to Chapter 7. But we know that's not where you want to be.
Yep, and with Phantom beating 6, I really want to know where Phantom's going. If Phantom goes to 1 right now, Phantom is pretty much in the lead.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It'd be like immediate go mode. Which would be like, it's just over 2 hours now, right? Like, this is like sub 3 cable if Phantom goes to Chapter 1.
Yeah, well, it looks like... Ew. Is he going to do Roadie?
Probably. Phantom's kind of like a player who tends to be thorough with his checks. If it's in logic, he'll do them. Yeah. Like, I think the only reason Phantom didn't do Goomba King when he went to Prologue is because at that time you had like 0 AoE. Wouldn't have been like worth the fight.
Oh, M4 is rich. Oh, probably going to check Mayor.
Yeah, and the Snowman gifts as well.
Yes. There's a world here where J-Cog would need a lot to go right, but I don't think he's quite out of it yet. Oh, Puffy making...
After 2, J-Cog will be in the similar situation of 1 or 7.
Yeah.
So if enemy 7 playing J-Cog makes 1, that brings J-Cog back in this. It's really just that 50-50. That's weighted heavily towards the wrong choice.
Yep. Just because of those darn Ultra Boots.
And that vanilla Fortress Key.
Yeah.
That's probably the only reason why no one's going to 1. They don't have the Fortress Key, which is vanilla.
Like, I'm trying to think if there was any point in this race when it would have been... No, this is the only... There's no real other point in this race that I can think of that it would have been a good idea to be like, hey, you know what? Let me just check Chapter 1.
Yeah, I think the only reason Puffy did it already is because Puffy's a little more inexperienced with these races compared to the runners. Because someone who's been playing randomizer as long as Phantom, J-Cog, and 4 normally wouldn't do that kind of play when there's other options, and you don't have the last key yet. But that inexperience kind of like made Puffy do that check and get rewarded for it in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like when Puffy finds himself in that situation where the other three runners are, Puffy already has the knowledge. Puffy won't like fall for Ice Palace, presumably.
Ooh, M4 going for Danger Mario. Did they get Last Stand?
I'd imagine. I don't think you're on Danger Mario thought Last Stand, so I think the Mario would have had it. Unless they've got us like somewhere else. Like Ralph's fourth bad shop checks. But if that was the case, I'm pretty sure they would have gone Danger Mario before Junior, so I think Mario might have had it then. Well, we know then Phantom would have it. I actually don't know.
Yeah, wasn't there an item that the bad shop had?
Ralph could have had it. I didn't check what Ralph's like fourth set was.
Ralph had... Oh, it was... Because I remember being shocked when M4 checked it. Rolf had the 2 keys and the bean. That's what it was.
Yeah. But there's like at the post... Like the post chapter 6 check, right? After M4 beat 6. I didn't really see what Ralph had then. So there's like 3 more item checks.
And so it's always kind of a relief when... oh, yep. Phantom going to...
Phantom falling for 7? But M4 didn't, though. M4 did leave 7 and is going to get Ultra Hammer.
Yep.
Probably for the Ultra Boots.
We might also see what's behind that 4th key.
That too. So at least, like, getting Ultra Hammer just for Ultra Boots alone is worth a double dip back. But since you have the 4th Roots key, you get that peace of mind. Seeing what's behind that door. So now I'm going to see if M4 is getting Ultra Boots just for 7, because M4 knows that 7 is 7, right? You want that extra power. So that might be why they're leaving. They might just be going back afterwards.
Yeah. M4 may have pushed on if they didn't see that 44 HP Junior.
Yeah. So at this point, I think M4 already had knowledge that 7 was 7, because they've been telling every other chapter like encounter at this point. So if they're like keeping track, then I would.
Jacob just making Tut Koopa look like an absolute joke. So Jacob is in the same boat.
Yeah, so it's Jacob's turn to take the 50-50 guess.
Yeah, and Phantom has not committed yet, so we'll see if he...
Phantom could still leave and go to chapter 1. Like, Snowman Gifts is just a good check all around because it's 5 checks.
Yeah. But I've been burned from 7 before, so I would absolutely keep going to 7.
Yeah,
and there's
I would too, but...
The first one that I was featured on Pape Races, I decided to not go up the mountain, and that's where Bombette was.
Yeah, Phantom's versus Cooper, so he definitely has every intention going to Ice Palace.
Yep. Okay, Jacob, will you make the call? All depends on what he does after he hits that tree. Nope. That's right, not having Paracarry also... M4 didn't even come over to this side, it looks like.
Yeah, that's where the Crystal Berry is, so... M4 might even consider that first.
More bait! Yeah, make it quick, sure.
I mean, if you're going to do the 7 fights, man, it's going to be a help, hopefully. There's 7 FP, so it's not going to hold that much. But you still get 2 uses out of it. And you presumably need to use it like once or twice. I guess preferred. If you have like FP healing, it's not that bad, but...
And we are going to see what's behind the 4th key here. We know
yeah, Power Plus would be good to find.
Yes.
We still don't know what the second one is. Not Thunder Rage.
Yeah, that's not worth the chomp fight. Is that the chomp you don't have to fight?
Yeah. If you see the item, you can just leave. You don't fight the chomp until you got the item itself.
Isn't there one that they don't attack you right away? They just jump around the room, and can't you homeward shroom out of that?
That would be the first one, yeah. Or the one before the second locked door.
Ugh.
You break this block, and then the chomp will come out.
Gulpin's doing 7 damage.
Yeah, the Gulpins aren't fooling around.
13 hit points. Ugh.
Seriously, M4 is doing the Crystal Berry check. Like this, like I think M4 is trying to avoid clearing the. Knowing that you only have like 2 checks left, M4 is trying to avoid the Ice Palace if possible. Because M4 didn't go back there at all. M4 is like prioritizing Crystal Berry first.
JCog likely going for his Ultra Boots, and then...
7's right there. I'm sure JCog is going to do it too.
Yeah, it's the fact that everyone found Paracarries. The one who could have maybe avoided it would have been Phantom, but it's still... There's a lot of checks here. It makes sense.
Well, M4 hasn't gone back to 7 yet. M4 could still make the one play. And
yeah.
JCog could just turn around and do one as well. Ain't over for them yet.
If he homeward shrooms out, I have... Oh, he's probably going to 7.
Well, no, because you still want to hit these checks, but...
Oh, yeah. There's one right out here.
And there's one, like, after the pipe, right before the Chapter 7 room, which, I mean, Chapter 7's right there. Like, even routing-wise, it just makes the most sense.
Oh, it's fighting against them so hard. What an evil... Like, come on, don't you want to do 7?
JCog's doing 7, and 4 is going back to 7.
Does that mean that since they're all on the wrong path, Phantom's
kind of in the lead now, yeah.
Just because they're all on the wrong path and Phantom's just a little bit.
I think Phantom's back in the lead.
Yeah, this is the convergence right here.
Unfortunately, this means it probably won't be a sub 3C because Phantom didn't choose Chapter 1. But
sub 3 is
just... This could still be like a really good time.
Oh yeah, if they cook through here, they could do... Well, I gotta check the whole Ice Palace.
Ice Palace is slow when you don't have to check everything.
Yeah,
Like, if Phantom, say, went to 1 first, when the timer's, like, at 2 flat-ish, Phantom would have got both items back-to-back, and would have skipped the rest of Chapter 1, all of Chapter 3, and all of Chapter 7. Like... Oh, it's finishing up. And...
Oh, and we're going for the boots.
Yeah, and Fourth Ball just going to go boots into Chapter 7.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot that they hadn't even gotten their boots yet, so yeah.
Well, they backtracked the Ultra Hammer since they beat Chapter 2 without Paracarry.
And technically that also means that JCog pulled ahead of M4.
Yep.
But still anyone... Well, actually, again, it's not... Until M4 goes and starts checking Crystal Palace checks.
Yeah, true. I imagine that's... I mean, logically, that's what's going to happen.
It makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense.
You can beat it. There's a lot of stuff there. We just know because we have perfect knowledge.
Yeah, we know. Luckily, Puffy did us a favor by even going to Chapter 1 when he did. Yeah. So otherwise, we'd be so confused.
Yeah.
Like, if Puffy didn't go to Chapter 1, we'd be going and complimenting everybody. I was like, yeah, Chapter 7's great. Surely the items will be here.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. We were like, man, there's nothing there, and then we would all had the oh crap moment when everyone went chapter 1. Yeah, so we probably still see a sub 320 here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which, I mean, considering how far out of practice I am, that's way better than I would do. I did the math by looking at the last race seat I participated in, and it's been over 2 months now.
Yikes.
Yeah, I keep saying, like, no, this week I'm gonna do one. Nope.
There's always next week.
Yeah. Because for anyone who doesn't know, our next Pape races, Randomizer race, will be January 1st, New Year's Day. Which...
Cannot wait. The first race of 2023.
Yes. Couldn't get any sooner in 2023.
Yeah. The first weekly race will be a Pape Races event. Type.
Get another sub 3.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see another sub 3 seed on Pape Races.
That was insane. It's funny because it was so close, and I brought it up in when you were in chat, but I think literally if you had grabbed Attack Effect C, you would have just missed it.
I was debating just walking back and forth around Attack Effect C just to like troll the people watching, because I know people want me to pick it up. I know Attack Effect C is the fan favorite.
Yep.
But then I saw like, this is a really good time right now. I don't know. Mess floating around.
Yeah, we were memeing. We're like, well, now even if
I know it's the fan favorite.
Yeah. We're like, well, even if Rigby wins, that's it. It's invalid.
I also got like up and away dinked in my stay a couple weeks ago, so that didn't do me any favors.
And Puffy was the very first person to skip Attack Effect C twice.
Yeah.
Because Puffy died.
Puffy is a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Which, now that Puffy's like actually in, I think we didn't even touch upon this at all when Puffy went to it all, so Puffy got both doing so, right? And it's this whole like toy box thing that Puffy found himself in. Which means Puffy can be Chapter 1. The only runner right now who has Chapter 1 in a completable state. So I'd imagine Puffy might go back to Chapter 1 since he can complete it.
That happens a lot too, I've noticed in a lot of these races, is Chapter 1 tends to be near the end, and Chapter 5's always the first.
Well, it's Chapter 1 uses like 4 keys in Cooper, right?
Yeah, but there's like no logic behind those keys, so they can just be anywhere.
The only time those keys are like logically needed is if those keys are holding something else that's much more important.
Yeah.
Like in this case it's Boo Portrait, right? But Chapter 3 doesn't have anything, so Boo's Portrait doesn't mean much except for be Chapter 3.
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna be able to just fly right through 3.
Missed something while watching Phantom and Puffy. I thought J-Cog was ahead, but M4's already at Ice Palace.
Yeah.
I guess J-Cog didn't do Server City yet, and M4 did. That's never mind. Never mind. We're good. We're good. I used logic to solve the puzzle.
So at this point, it's gonna be all...
I'm pretty sure J-Cog got Parker and dipped.
That's right. Oh, all these checks.
Yeah, Ice Palace is so slow. Like, the worst feeling is going through doing every Ice Palace check and not finding a single progression item. It just feels bad. Like, wait, I could have go mode of this chapter potentially.
Yep.
And like, you don't get additional Ralph checks from beating 7 at this point either. So
Nope.
you just nothing. Like, good day to you.
Oh, J-Tug ate a life shroom on that fight as well.
Yeah, this fight's really hard because one, those Gulpets do a lot of damage. Second, your starting partner's Cooper, and no one's upgrading Cooper.
No.
So you either have like, unless you have Quick Change on, Quick Change is not bad because you could just like force it in Bombette and do damage, but other than that, Cooper's kind of like dead weight.
Yep. I once, maybe twice, I've upgraded Cooper, and it was only because I think I just stretched the rest of the upgrade blocks, and I just so happened to come across one that was in my way, and I'm like, yeah, sure, Cooper. And he's useful in that fight sometimes when it's high level, and you have Digishell, that's it. There's no real other reason.
And Dizzy Shell's a bad move. All that mashing, I hate it.
Yeah.
Well, Puffy has completed his second chapter.
With the third completable.
Yeah, so I imagine like chapter 1 is where you would go. And this is interesting too because at this point Puffy will be able to get two of the chapter 3 keys, and if he does dip in 6, he can get the third one, and then 3 will be beatable.
Yeah, and Puffy. Oh, there's another breadcrumb for Phantom. Frying pan. Puffy also.
Interesting that lot. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Puffy should now be able to beat Chapter 2 as well. He doesn't know that, but we do.
Oh, true, because of the artifact. When Puffy will want to go back for that, though, is beyond me. Like.
Yeah. He's already done the desert.
He's been in the rooms already, because he has his Ultra Hammer and Ultra Boots already.
Oh, yeah. Ugh, gross.
And, like, I've mentioned, like, Puffy's a little more inexperienced compared to the other runners. Like, I'm sure, like, if the other runners were in that position, like, the artifact track would be in the back of the mind. It might not be that way for Puffy right away, right?
Yeah. Something I noticed in this room that Phantom's in right now, a lot of people do this puzzle differently. So Phantom does it the way I do it. I noticed that you did it slightly differently.
Yeah, different way of doing it. I don't even remember when I started doing it. I used to do it like this, and I changed randomly. And I can't tell you why. I don't even remember how to do the puzzle until I'm in the room itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal to me.
Like, if you told me could you write me instructions how to do it? Absolutely not.
Yeah. I just let my muscle memory carry me.
Oh, okay. Phantom did have a damage dodge on, and Phantom also picked up another power plus, which are 5.
Yeah, that's not bad. And we know the second power plus is in the Kubrick's Fortress.
Puffy's going to beat now. Like, we know Puffy's technically pretty far behind progression-wise, but chapter completion-wise, not that far behind.
True. Like, once Puffy gets more experience, Puffy could get, like, sub-4s pretty handily.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that was my first barrier.
Like, just this chapter 1 play already, like, gave Puffy a huge advantage. It's also, like, worth noting that Phantom, J-Fog, and M4 are all speed runners, right? So their core movement's just, like, super fast. And Puffy did more, I guess, fights for experience, which is a good idea if you're not, like, confident in your ability yet to, like, fight low-level things as low leveled.
Yeah, I see a lot of the progression that I went through in this game and kind of what Puffy's going through, because I never speedrun the game. In fact, the only speedrun tricks I know are rando exclusive. Not rando exclusive, but, you know, probably only using them in rando. Phantom's going for the Giga Charge. I think Phantom was probably hoping the Crystal King didn't use ice on that last turn. That's probably what Phantom wanted. Now I think you do nothing. Yep. Do nothing. Get.
Yeah, it's turning it to Pearl. Okay.
And then destroy. Always never been destroyed. Or cap. Which is good enough.
So I feel like Phantom has to go to Shadow 1 now, right?
Oh yeah.
I could see a world where Phantom maybe goes back for Guma King. That kind of sounds like something Phantom might do. But Chapter 1 can't be that far behind. He's done all the other optional stuff.
I think realistically, Phantom probably turns in the frying pan and then probably just... Hopefully that doesn't take him down another rabbit hole. And then goes Chapter 1.
Unfortunate. Puppy tried to ultra boots jump on the cannons, but missed and got a bullet to the face instead.
Oh. Well. How many, Nope. Oh. That's where I milk experience. I just did nothing there.
Yeah.
Actually, I probably
The other one's not that strong, so I doubt the bullets would give you a whole lot of experience for anything. It's everybody do a lot more difficult scaling.
Yeah, that's when I when it just scaled up to
just
7.
into a seed with each other one that's not that strong. It's not that big a deal. You might not probably get anything from the bullets. I didn't really see when Puppy got hit, if you got experience or not from it.
Alright, there's Phantom going to turn the frying pan, then I'm gonna guess Chapter 1. Unless he decides to go save the Yoshis. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, that's an option too.
Oh, blooper.
Oh, super blooper. Because he never did this yet. But Phantom's strong, so it shouldn't take that long to beat him.
That worked? Nice. Oh, yeah. Very strong. I didn't know Super Blooper was that susceptible to Dizzy.
Flying enemies generally are.
Yeah, dang, that was 3 turns, too.
So, like, if you see a flying enemy, they're probably weak to Dizzy. So that would, like, count for Blooper in this case.
I think we get a normal attack here, probably, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, next turn he's gonna make babies. But there won't be a next turn because Phantom one's right here.
That's very fast blooper fight, or super blooper fight.
Yeah, like when you're jacked up, Super Blooper itself doesn't become like a long check. So it's kind of like why I tend to not save scum that often because like, oh, that's last stand.
Yeah, I think you keep that.
Okay, interesting. I didn't see what item that was earlier when Puffy did it, because Puffy reset right after. But wow, that was last stand, huh?
Yeah, that's something you usually don't save scum. Phantom got it in the perfect spot.
Yeah, but Puffy's probably just not comfortable with last stand strats, so that would make sense in Puffy's case. I just didn't know it was there this entire time.
No. It's Sphere 0. Well, yeah, with the Lackey, I guess Sphere 0. How cheap is it? 3. Great. Chapter 1? No, probably don't save
I mean, you take the shortcut chapter 1, so that's probably what's going to happen.
Oh,
you do it first.
It saves them.
Is the case, yeah. Guma King first, then chapter 1. I'm pretty sure that's our order here for Phantom.
No doubt.
Because Phantom's sending the Dolly, and you're here, and Phantom likes to be thorough, so I can see a Guma King. Yep.
Which he has air raid now, so. And Mega Bomb. Which actually Super Bomb would be enough, so. When I was younger playing this game, it took me a while to figure out what the difference between Super and Mega Bomb even were.
Yeah,
like,
they have the same attack power and everything. And if you're fighting nothing but grounded enemies, it looks like he does the same thing, right?
Yeah, like, it's just the same move. Why does this one cost more? Because I think I was thinking of it in terms of, you know, Super Mario RPG. Because what was the difference between Super Jump and Ultra Jump Super Mario RPG? It was one jumped more. The Super Flame and Ultra Flame, the fireballs got bigger. So I thought the explosion would just get bigger and do more damage.
Okay. So, Phantom's going on his way to fight Goomba King. But if M4 goes straight to Chapter 1, we're gonna have a race on our hands.
Yeah, that'll put them right back in the lead.
I think Phantom probably still slightly being the lead, maybe. I don't know how... Phantom is jacked, but I'm sorry, so it'll be, like, close.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
M4 does all these cutscenes and all that. And Phantom, like, he shots Goomba King.
Yeah, I saw M4 go Danger, but I never saw if they actually got the last stand. Did they fight regular Blue player?
Well, they have 10 HP right now. So they're not technically in danger. I don't know if they have an HP plus equipped or what, but...
Oh.
I do remember seeing them go to Chet Repo. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I think last seed we also found out that Goomba King is apparently weak to everything.
Yeah, so if Emperor was to Chapter 1 right now, they'd be back in the lead.
See what the
They're
choice
probably in the frying pan, which makes sense. And then the Chapter 1 shortcut's right there.
Puppy's about to find all his Chapter 7 items.
And Phantom's going back to the shortcut, so I'm sure Phantom's headed to Chapter 1 next.
Ooh, they're gonna
This
be
is really close.
Yeah.
Phantom's up against Spike Goomba, slowing him down.
Right,
Chapter 1, okay, M4's back in the lead, to safe to say.
Yes. Now, where Phantom is definitely going to save time is Phantom is way stronger than M4 is.
Yeah.
Oh. J-Cog doing cat 21
okay, stop, he's already dead.
Poor guy. You just blew past his healing for the next 4 seeds. Do you happen to see what the reward behind Goomba King was?
FP plus.
It was an FP plus. I was watching J-Cog melt Goomba King really fast, or Crystal King really fast.
Yeah, it was very amusing. Of course, barely had a Phantom. Like, this is super close.
That's gonna come down to execution on the fights.
Like, Phantom's, like, overthrownness is, like, almost hurting him at this point. Like, Phantom would have had, like, a sizable lead if he didn't, like, do every out-of-order thing.
Yes.
But, like, that's kind of like a Phantom plays. Like, it will reward him on those kind of seeds where you just get trolled. Especially when one of the items missing is a Fortress Key. That could literally be anywhere. And at this point, potentially, like, boost Portrait.
They're probably going to be in that fight. No, they won't be in the fight at the same time. Never mind.
M4's going to finish this fight as Phantom's entering in.
technically having a faster fight.
Yeah, so Phantom already just made up time in that fight.
About to have the face smack moment. Not really face smack. They've made all the right call.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
J-Cog going to fight Goomba King too. Or just doing Dolly. Let's see if J-Cog takes the middle route. Just does Dolly and leaves. Oh, Phantom, don't leave. Okay. Good.
And that's go mode for M4 and go mode for Phantom.
And within 5 seconds of each other, they entered go. It's gonna come down to execution in the fights. They are in the same cutscene.
Yeah, like and it's also like movement too. Like it's not just beat chapter 1, go to chapter 8. You still have to like move through chapter 3 as well.
Yep, and so in an ideal world, in chapter 3, you're only fighting the heart and Tubba Blubba.
Like I could probably see maybe the runners being parallel on like the spikes in the spike room, just to like chapter 3 is 6 skilled, right? So if you get yourself parallel and then just stop on her forever. Like Phantom probably doesn't need to do that since he's got the whole Danger Mile build, but M4 doesn't and could do that.
You see the difference here too. Phantom doing that and M4 going for pie jumps. Which you'll never catch me doing pie jumps. It's too much of a risk.
It's really not that worth it in Rando when you have Paracarry and you could just... It's not that I'm slow to use Paracarry over Cooper. Like, even I don't really do them, and I'm good at pie jumps, but setting up with speedy spins is just awkward for me. And we see J-Cog's in Chapter 1 as well, not far behind Phantom and M4. Like,
No.
if Phantom and M4 have, like, a bad Chapter 8, J-Cog could just swoop in.
Yeah, because J-Cog's also in Danger Mario now.
Yeah.
J-Cog fought... Oh, I guess I should have saw it done. Yeah, J-Cog fought Blooper real early.
Yeah, J-Cog tends to like the whole save scum Blooper. So he tends to do that particular check early. So he would have had last end earlier, and I might have missed it. But he probably would have done it on his way to like chapter 5 or something maybe. Since that Blooper fight would be on the way.
This is... So Phantom's just gonna go for the XP slash about the same amount of time on the fight. He doesn't have to wait for the Mega Quake that M4 did.
Surely Puffy picked up the soil, right? Because Puffy was in Toy Box, and that's where the soil is. It's kind of like in the open in Blue Station.
Yeah, this is where it gets really confusing with Puffy. I am not sure.
Same with the Tubbs key, because like the third one's in the well, and if Puffy had blueberries, he could have just took that as well. Because if Puffy does have those 2 checks, then he would just be Diamond Stone for go mode.
They are a few text boxes apart from each other. Oh, Phantom just took the lead. And I would imagine this fight's going to be slightly faster for Phantom.
Yeah, this Danger Mars. Oh, Phantom. M4 is in Danger Mario. Okay, so M4 must have had HP plus on this whole time. That's what I thought. Okay, so M4 broke Trojan Bowser like a frame earlier, or 2 frames, like very close.
Oh, does Phantom not have Power Bounce?
Oh,
No.
Phantom does have Power Bounce. That's why I picked it up. But like, look how close this is like near sync.
Yeah.
But the difference is, M4 came in with Watt, which takes out the Kubos faster than Bombette. They'll save him a couple seconds.
And one more power bomb, and this fight is over. Oh, this is gonna be photo finish. Well, nah, I guess not that.
This is exciting.
Yeah. So it's who's gonna be able to beat up Junior and the Bowsers faster?
Not even that. It's still a whole other chapter still to go through.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, I forgot to like wait. This gets up 3, but like no, we still have chapter 3 to go through.
Yeah.
And chapter 3 is kind of a longest chapter with all the cutscenes it has, right? Even if you're just running through it, it does take a bit. Yeah, I love how close this is. Like 2.5 hours in, and we have runners like touching cards like seconds apart.
Yeah. It would have been about 3 seconds, I think, but Phantom was doing something with his badges. I'm not sure what was going on there. I hope he's not like me thinking he was going to Chapter 8. I think he equipped the Quake badge, so... Both talking to L-Star at the same time. I agree, Hooktail. That would be unfortunate to see a race this close be determined by who gets capped by Bowser or Junior.
Yeah. Yeah, the caps are definitely going to come into play.
I want this
like
to be
it's close enough where like a 3 cap could just take away your first place.
Puppy looks like they're going through a pretty clean Junior fight. Looks like they got a little fortunate on that power shock, but...
Did Phantom just not pick up Mega Quake? I wasn't like paying super attention when Phantom was like on Super Mountain. Because that's really making the difference here with these Dark Koopas. Because 1 Mega Quake kills them all. And with 25 FP, the 7P like entry for using it is not that big of a deal. Plus there's a Heart Block right after this. So you can refill your FP.
Oh yeah. Phantom's taking a full turn to do all of these, and Forrest could be able to do them in 1.
Yeah, and Forrest just wins these fights in half a turn. And like with how close this race is, like the small stuff like this is going to make a big difference. And now that we know that M4 is like Danger Mario as well, like confirmed, it was HP plus. They're pretty much, they have like pretty much a lot of power. There's as much power as Phantom even, so. So that advantage we thought Phantom had with fights isn't an advantage, it's equal footing.
We got J-Cog about an All-Star scene and 3 Koopa fights behind. Here's a question I have that you might have the answer to. Is it faster to climb those steps, or is it still pretty quick to just jump on that sofa and have it spring you up there?
Climb the steps, because it's fast to just... You can get there in like 1 spin if you take like 1 step first. And then you can just jump up the steps faster than going through the animation of flying in the air, and then the animation of you dusting yourself off after you land flat on your face.
Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna start jumping up the steps then. I saw someone do it. Wow, that's cool. I never thought about that. Never finding out if it was actually faster.
Yeah. It's cool, but it's definitely better to just jump up the steps.
Ooh. Phantom jumped ahead again somehow.
I was watching Puff. I was like trying to keep an eye on Puffy, but like
So was I. Did M4 grab something in Boo's mansion that Phantom already checked?
I don't. They were seconds apart, so maybe just like little movement things.
Yeah.
Like if M4 got stuck on a pillar on the way to Gusty Gulch, then it would just take the lead. It was that close, right? It could have just been a small thing.
Ooh, Jacob doing it the other way. It's actually going through the forest to not fight the Koopas. Which...
And you have to fight Junior. So maybe Jacob just thinks that Junior fight would be better.
Well,
have 6 kills.
Do you have to fight Junior? He didn't. He never turned in the Boo portrait.
No, it's for if you open the Super Boots chest, you fight Junior.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why he's doing this then. Maybe he thinks he can just smoke Junior.
I mean, it's possible. You are kind of jacked, so maybe in this case, 1 fight is faster than 3.
Yeah, I didn't know if the trigger was the portrait or the Super Boost chest.
It was the trigger for it. Otherwise, I think like at this point, going to the forest would be like better every time. You don't need the experience from Dark Koopas.
Look at that! M4's back in the lead. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's just for M4 Phantom, it's just movement stuff, and the lead will just switch. That's how close they are. Like, we take our eyes off that race for a second, the lead will switch, and we won't know how.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I'm also trying to watch J-Cog, who's not that far behind, and Puffy, who's doing interesting stuff, and I'm curious, like...
Yeah, like, I think Puffy played well this seed. Like, I think Puffy... If Puffy didn't mark it, assuming Puffy just didn't see it or didn't get it, the Soil and Towaski, like, if Puffy had those, then Puffy would be doing really well with only downs on Forgo mode. And, like, being that close to Go mode at sub 3 for someone who's new to the racing as Puffy is, that's very impressive.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I just saw... So, the lead changed again, but this time I know why. M4 was Maniping Peril.
Oh, yeah, that's what I kind of feared they would do. And they got the encounter, unfortunately, so... Phantom will take a couple seconds here just from not getting the encounter. But M4 have, like, a really fast fight. Potentially faster fight with that damage.
Yeah. The encounter would be the difference right now, then, because the time... I don't know. It's arguable, I guess, to whether the time that's going to be saved was saved by Phantom by not actually doing the Manip Peril, or I don't know.
If, like, the time difference that card grab is, like, around 10 seconds, then it'll be because of the encounter.
Yeah.
Any less than that would be, like, time and format to save for Peril, essentially. At this point, you're kind of strong. I'm not sure if you would have necessarily need Peril for the heart.
No, and what is this? It's 5 scales? Yeah.
6. So it's strong, but I think regardless, 2 bounces will win you the fight.
Yeah, just don't get hit by the...
Unless you get, like, double fork out, then maybe. But even then, you are still kind of strong. I guess we'll see when the fight actually happens.
Yeah. That is definitely my favorite music in this game, by the way. It's going to be fast because they're so strong, but I love it. Probably my favorite song in... no, probably my second favorite song in the series. The Rock Hawk theme's pretty banging. Oh. Alright, Phantom gets it on second try, so M4 has a little bit of time to make up. Like, it's going to come down to stuff like that now. We're not in randomizer territory anymore. We're in speedrun execution territory now.
Yeah.
M4 gets the first try. So let's see. He got the text box. So, Phantom went through the room at 31. See if M4 gets the random text box.
Of course.
Yep.
Classic.
So about 15 seconds, give or take.
10 of that was to the encounter. The others were setting up peril, which M4 could save back.
In the fight itself, yeah. It's crazy also is we're going to, just because of the sheer length of the final Bowser fight and all those stupid cutscenes, Jacob looked like he's going to manip peril as well. Just unfortunately not getting his...
Yeah, Jcog's not in danger either, so for Jcog it makes a lot more sense to be manipulating this peril, though longer if you're at 10 HP.
Yeah.
And M4 got another encounter. Oh, I hate to see it. Not when it's this close.
No. But we are going to see, just because of the sheer length of those stupid cutscenes in the Bowser fight, we're going to see 3 of our 4 runners fighting final at the same time.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That is... We usually see maybe 2 at the same time, but 3 at the same time is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, because Jacob's not that far behind.
It really isn't.
If M4 keeps getting encounters and Phantom gets a few encounters too.
Hopefully not, because there shouldn't be that many more encounters for M4 to even get. Since there's no encounters in Chapter 8 unless you count like Starway. Oh!
Oh.
Now M4 is in the lead because Phantom actually didn't beat the hard in time. So Peril actually helped M4 a lot here, and more time than we thought it would save because Phantom has EP Bloodstream.
Yeah.
Like, Phantom is just missing 4 damage.
Oh,
and just like that, M4's in the lead.
Oh, wow. So
That's
they probably had
incredible.
cap, right? Because it took them both 2 turns.
Well, it took Phantom 3.
Oh, 3, that's... Yeah, sorry.
Because the heart ended up using the charge attack. Or 2.5, I guess.
We'll see what the difference here is. A good time would be card grab. Oh, M4... Oh, never mind. Fight's over. That's fine.
Interesting. M4 upgraded HP. I'm pretty sure I saw an HP level up.
Yeah, usually isn't that something that's usually accomplished by a HP plus badge for the junior fight?
Yeah, if you do that, you have 15 HP for junior, and then you get like... It's an easy peril manip. But if you're doing Danger Mario strats, like that HP level up might tell us that we're shying away from Danger Mario for final.
Got my notepad here because I want to remember this.
Oh, 9 for M4.
2, 15, 09 for M4.
And 26 for Phantom. So 15, so like 17 seconds, give or take.
6. I'll do JCOGs too. It's not that far behind.
And Jacob's like a couple minutes. Which, for any catastrophe to happen in Chapter 8, would bring Jacob back in this.
Oh, yeah. Like, they got a lot of life shrooms, but they've also kind of been burning through them a little bit. Alright, this time for real we're going to Chapter 8.
You know, before this race, I predicted M4 to get a 306, and that's looking on the card right now. So if it happens, just to let you all know, I called it.
Heck of a prediction, and looking very possible. Like, even if you're Phantom right now, you gotta feel like you're doing okay. Just, like, they don't know that how close they actually are. Actually, the last race I was in, I finished... I thought I was doing pretty well. I was gunning for second place, because I think Phantom had finished like 5 minutes or something before. As soon as I hit done, I noticed that J-Cog hit 3 seconds before me.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
I was like, what? I was waiting to hit the button. I was waiting to get the star rod.
Oh, Phantom got an encounter. It sucks. And choosing to clear out.
Starstorm.
Oh, I didn't check Phantom's experience. Maybe just doing this for the level up. Some reason why you would fight these.
Oh, so you can get Peril and then...
And you want to avoid leveling up after Junior if you can. Yeah, I was doing this for level up.
Oh, with 99 HP. Yeah, okay.
Phantom won't even level up on hallway now, so Phantom could just keep Peril from Junior straight into final.
Oh, that may have been intentional.
Yeah, it was 100% intentional. Phantom would have probably ran away otherwise. So the option would be also like fight the duplicates, but considering how strong, like the chapter 7 scale, so they might have given too much experience.
Oh yeah, they give a lot.
Yeah. So give save if you fight 4 of them. Like you don't even know how many you'll fight in that formation, right? If you fight too many and beat them all, then you'll be too much experience and you'll level up after our hallway. And I think Phantom's trying to avoid that. So Phantom, I haven't seen what... I guess I'll see what M4's experience is looking like. But Phantom's looking like he's going to have a really fast start to final. And same with M4. M4 could take Peril to final too, if they want. Since they have, like, no experience. Oh yeah, they leveled up on Pape, so that was, like, perfect for them.
Doesn't M4 have 52?
M4 is, like, 4.
Oh, I was looking at coin.
M4 level up on Pape, so... No HP.
Looks like...
HP plus, so probably going to block 2 from... Like, you have damage on to 50 down, you can probably put them both, block 2 from Junior, get the Peril, and just bounce, and do like a charge fight. Kind of like a glitchless thing.
Looks like Jacob grabbed the card at about 255, 35-ish. I didn't see the exact time,
It's
but...
like 31 or 32. So both, like, 5 or 3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes in that ballpark. So M4 starting the Junior fight as Phantom's entering a cutscene. This might be the caps dependent kind of thing.
Yeah, M4's going for charge, and I imagine Phantom's fighting for the same thing.
And J-Cog is fighting Junior in Chapter 1?
Did he want to? Oh, is this how he's manipulating his,
Oh no, it's probably for level up as well.
Yeah.
J-Cog's not an experience.
Oh, this is a long way to do it, though.
And it's definitely interesting. Like, I think the way Phantom did with fighting, like, the Embers is best. But Phantom just eating another life stream from Junior. Send him even further back.
Yeah, this is, I think this is now M4's to lose. Because they're basically both in the exact same, position right now. Just...
Yeah, I don't know if I go that far because they say turn 3 shield from final would just be obnoxious. And it's still kind of close. Like, it's still, like, very close between Phantom and M4. But, like, M4's in a really strong position.
Yeah, guess it all depends on how mean Final wants to be.
Yeah.
Or if he wants to give fire, or if he wants to just keep swiping at you with his claws.
Yeah, like probably no, like Final could give Peril Phantom, but not M4, right? Yeah, 4 cap right away. 4 cap out of sight. This should be like an easy color fight for both Phantom and M4.
Ooh.
Bowser at 1 HP.
Well, for those who don't know, you can still hit Bowser.
Jump times 1 still kills. But Power Jump for that extra safety. Respect.
Let's see how Phantom fares here. 11. Well, Phantom not going to get the shield. Something goes horribly wrong here.
Yeah, see, with Phantom getting a 2-turn versus M4's 3-turn already saved Phantom, like, 10-ish seconds. And if Phantom doesn't do any bad equips, you could just take the lead right now. Because M4's trying to, like, look for a setup. Crush it. There. M4 enters the door at 03, and Phantom at 04. We're a second apart into final.
Just because I want this to be as close as humanly possible, I don't want Phantom to equip any more badges. Just go. You got this.
Well, typically, since you're not leveling up for anything, I'd like to do my badge set or whatever before junior and final if I'm not going to do any level ups. And with the exception of like maybe 1 equip for like unequipped damage dodge if I have it on, I usually just take what I got and go.
That was funny. See that variant. So Phantom entered the stairway first, but M4 came out faster. So Phantom had better movement across the bridge, but M4 had better movement up the stairs. Crazy.
This is unreal. Entering like the battles by like within a second apart of each other.
Yeah, this could come down to just RNG. One of them could just never see fire. And my janky claw strat only works on hallway. It doesn't work on final, where you just let them hit you with the claw and the poison knocks you down to 1.
Phantom got some good bounces there. Or M4 is not doing the Danger Mario Bowser fight. M4 seems to be doing more like a glitchless type of fight.
Ooh, Phantom definitely going in with way more damage on him.
Yeah, because like the way M4 does, if M4 like over attacks, Bowser will heal. Or like you don't really have that worry as much with Danger Mario, since you could get to 1 HP at turn 1 and don't worry about healing. Where it's not really the case with what M4 is doing.
Yeah, so it's a lot of it's going to come down to what Bowser decides to do turn 1. If he decides to cap them.
Like I think Phantoms has the advantage just because of the strat he's doing.
Yeah.
Because the strat M4 is doing usually involves losing a life room. But like if Phantom doesn't get Peril turn 1, like and doesn't really regard for healing, Bowser could heal.
And Phantom is about 2 seconds ahead. I think that's when he dinked off Cammy. We'll see on block hit here. 58
block hit. Versus like an 01 block hit. So like 3 seconds. Give or take.
This is insane. I love it. Last week we saw sub 3. This week we're seeing 2 runners within seconds of each other. Third right behind him. It very well may, unfortunately, come down to Bowser RNG. But, as Rigby was saying, Phantom, I believe, does have a bit of an edge still, power-wise. Phantom's going to be hitting him hard right out of the gate. M4 might be a little bit behind on that.
But like I said, like with Phantom strat, like if with Digimon, you don't really kind of regard for healing, because if Bowser heals is whatever, you do so much damage anyways, so you don't really play around it as much. So if Bowser doesn't give Phantom Peril, and Phantom still jumps on him forever, Bowser could heal. But it's Peril, so...
There it is.
Now Phantom just kind of wins. And with Bow, you don't have to repel gel or anything, you just bounce twice and you win. Oh, but that's a 3 cap.
Alright.
Shouldn't matter too much, really. As long as he doesn't get 3 cap again, Bowser dies.
Odds are low.
And that's it.
GG Phantom. And while JCOG wasn't quite on final, we still did have 3 racers fighting a Bowser at the same time.
305 flat.
Yeah, oh wow.
Definitely hype. From like chapter 1 onwards, I'm from Phantom back and forth. So interesting.
Yeah, ever since chapter 1. Well, no, not even chapter 1. It was probably after what, chapter 7? Entry into chapter 7 it was about even?
It's basically like after Venom the Goomba King and M4 finished chapter 7, that's when it like kind of got synced. No peril there, but they're just going to eat a Ice Room. Or not Ice Room, Repel. And this next turn, M4 should win.
In the race time room, MX shouted you out. So that for you.
The 306, I'm never wrong. I told them as such too. I'm never wrong.
GG to M4 as well.
GG. With as I said earlier, 306. There's other numbers too, but the 306 part was important for me.
Within 60 seconds in a 3+ hour race. Pretty darn good. Let's see if JCOG has the same amount of... the same kind of fight. Because in theory, he should be just as strong as Phantom was going in here.
Yeah.
Oh, and extra shoutouts to Phantom, because Phantom marked the star rod. No one ever does that.
Oh, I mark the star rod all the time. It's my victory mark. Maybe I did mark it after sub 3. I was too out on that one, but I usually mark it.
Alright, Jaycog's sitting through his, say, buffer time here. Puffy is... That's interesting. Am I missing something here? Because... Oh, Puffy's missing one of the keys. Puffy just didn't want one of the keys. Okay. Unless, for some reason, Puffy only bought one of the 2 keys from the bad shop, I imagine Puffy has all of them.
Yeah, well, Puffy could have missed the well one in Chapter 6.
Oh, that's right. Ooh, ew.
Like that, the sword that's in Toy Box would be unfortunate if Puffy missed those. The damage zone I understand a bit more, just because it's definitely way out of the way for Puffy.
Alright, let's see how Jaycog... Oh, no. I jumped the gun a little bit. We still have 8 more minutes of cutscene. Hold. And this is... It's insane, as this is, like, insanely butchered still. Because normally that's a few turn fight. That was a welcome change when we went to boss rush mode here. The races.
Yeah, this is really fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely one of the best. I mean, the last 2 weeks have been so hype. The sub 3, we had racers finish. Race time GG, 1 minute 45 seconds apart. That was literally just strategy in the fight the boss.
And movement really mattered for that end game for both runners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like I said, they... Phantom had better movement on the bridge, but M4 had better movement up the stairs, so... crazy. To be playing this game for 3 hours and have it just converge like that. Yo, we got Jaycog using water block strat. That's a good way to go.
I love water block strats. I already commented in this race, but Jaycog using it, it makes me happy. Even though I never use it myself.
It's a good way to minute peril. So yeah, the site here. So let's see, we basically just hope that Bowser does not Star Rod. Oh, Jaycog playing it super safe here. Probably knowing that Bowser was going to Star Rod. Probably a good call.
Yeah, Bowser generally Star Rods around turn 4. It's pretty common for him to do that.
I imagine he's probably going to pull out Watt because he's got quick change on, smack him with a quick 5 damage, and finish him off with Mario in the next 2 turns. If he doesn't get a good cap.
Well, Craven, this should be it.
Yeah.
Just bounce and win at this point.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we don't get... Oh, that's okay, but we'll just finish it.
There we go. GG Jaycog.
GG for Jaycog. 3:12. So that's a really good time as well.
Yeah. Like 3:12:37. It was hard to tell there for a while because it looked like Jacob was a little further behind than he actually was. There was definitely some separation there for a while on what everyone was doing, and it's just all right after everyone did chapter 7 was when it all kind of came back together. Ooh, Puffy getting frozen. All right. Well, we had an insane race here today.
It was such a good race.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine you see anything closer than that. That's just crazy. I think we need to do 1 or 2 plugs, and then we're probably going to send you over to Puppy here. Go root him on. Just want to make sure everyone knows that the next Pape Rando race is January 1st. It's New Year's Day. Same time, same place.
And on the 7th, I believe it's the 7th, the staff could correct me if I'm wrong here, we have an all bosses exhibition race. So that'll be very, very fun to watch. I'm excited to see that one against some really high level runners, showing you all what all bosses is all about.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that as well. They've been over here at Pape Races, been knocking it out of the park with the content. Especially, I mean, these last 2 races alone have just been insane. So expect more of this, because it's what when it happens once, it's an anomaly. When it happens twice, it's a pattern. It's just got some insane talent over here. So with that, I think we're gonna send you over to Puffy. Thank you very much for hanging out. It's been a good time. If you're not already, be sure to go follow all these runners. They're awesome. You got anything else to add?
No, that you've pretty much covered it. Good race, fun to see, and look forward to the next one.